And here we are once again. Good evening, folks. Welcome to Friday Night Tech Talk. If you haven't been here before, I'm Mobile Geezer. And here's my phone acting up. Okay. I'm Mobile Geezer. You're on my channel. And my name is George Hayes, which I guess you can see at the bottom of the screen there. And we get together every Friday night at 8 o'clock Eastern Time in the U.S. And we discuss some of the stories, some of the tech stories that have come up in the last week. I try to give you what I think is might be a hot story. I don't think we had any real hot stories this week. And then I try to give you some stories that I think may interest you and maybe you haven't heard about somewhere else. So we go through the articles, talk about them. I believe tonight I'll be joined by Mike. Mike didn't join us last week, but he was in the comments. But last week we were blessed enough to have both Willa and Ted for the entire show. Mike, I think, will be in later on tonight, and we'll see what happens with Will and Ted. And see who was here first. Eleanor is back to being first, and then Brian got in good and early again. And here's Annette. Right on time. Glad to have you on it. Glad you're here. And Renz is not here, so I'm going to guess that he's probably busy at work. Usually when Renz isn't here, it's because he's busy at work. So I can't do anything but forgive that, and work's got to come first, but he's always finds a way to join us when he can. So I'm glad you're here. If you're new here, the show notes are on my website. So let me share screen and show you that. And there's my website. It's mobilegeezer.wordpress.com. And if you go there and click on today's date, you'll get just tonight's show notes. So tonight we're going to be talking about the new MacBooks that were announced this week out of my price range, but I thought it was kind of an important story. They didn't have an event; they just put it out there and told everybody what the new ones were. I believe there were some Mac Minis. I didn't include that in the story though. I just went with the MacBook Pro, and then after that. Once again, now you all know I'm pretty much a T-Mobile guy all the time. They've had another data breach. And just as I was starting to put the stories together last night, this came up. So this just happened yesterday. So we're going to talk about that. And then Twitter banned some of the third-party Twitter clients this week. They were saying that the rules have always been in place. They just started enforcing them, but that's kind of confusing to everybody. You'll see that in the story. And then for some reason, Goldman Sachs, I guess, is the issuer of Apple's Apple Card. And it seems like they're taking some pretty big losses on this card, but you'll see that. And I found a story that said the S23 Ultra Performance is a big step forward compared to the S22. I should have said the S22 Ultra. That was on Gears China, so we'll take a look at that. And hopefully I'll be getting the S23 Ultra. And then one of the things Samsung showed off at the CES, which I just saw this story, I think Diverge just came out with the story this week, was a 360 folding display that Samsung showed off. So I thought that was interesting. So those are the stories we'll go over tonight. Let me stop screen. Oh, and as has become my habit of showing you which phones I have with me. So tonight I have the Z Flip 4, which is I took to work today. And the other phone I took to work was my iPhone 14 Pro because today I wore my Apple Watch. So, my phone's always depending on which one of the three watches that I'm wearing. But the other phones that I have with me tonight, is the Galaxy S22 Plus, which I should show that some because I'm thinking that's going to be the phone I'm going to trade in for the S23 Ultra, I hope. And then finally, I have my third line in my Pixel 6 Pro. So those are the phones I have with me tonight. And just like to show you people which phones I'm dealing with day by day. But of course, tomorrow they'll change again. So, Eleanor's asking what happened to T-Mobile. Yeah, I guess Brian took a look at my show notes. It's in the show notes. I'll be bringing it up. I made it the second story because I always try to make the story that I think may be the most important, the second story, to give people a chance to come in. So let's get to the stories. Let me share screen again. And we'll get to that story in the second one. So let's get to these MacBooks first. So, both you ladies, I'll let you know about T-Mobile in a few minutes. But we're going to start with Tom's Guide. New MacBooks announced. These were just announced 3 days ago, I believe. Yeah, 3 days ago. So MacBook Pro 14-inch and 16-inch 2023 launch with M2 Pro and M2 Max power. So now it's not M1, now it's M2. So we're getting a lot more powerful here. And these costs. And I gather a lot of people expected these to be announced last autumn, but due to the supply chain, they just came out. So update, these are alleged benchmarks of the new Mac Minis with M2 and M2 Pro, one of the chips you can get in the new MacBook Pro. So this basically deals with the MacBook Pro. So, and this was by Mark Spoonhour. So I'm going to put this into Reader View, get rid of some of these ads. Apple has officially launched a new 14-inch MacBook Pro and 16-inch MacBook Pro with the new M2 Pro and M2 Max chips. And I gather these are some very powerful chips. And Apple is promising the longest battery life ever in a Mac, which is pretty good, I would say. The new MacBook Pros claim to offer 6 times faster performance than the fastest Intel-based MacBook Pro and support for up to 96 gigabytes of unified memory. That's a lot of RAM. Yes, it is. And the new 16-inch MacBook Pro is rated for up to 22 hours of endurance. Here's everything you need to know about the new MacBook Pros. And we'll skip over that. Okay. Now, these are the specs. And if you go into the story, you can go look at them and of course, it looks a lot better if you take it at a Reader View. But they go over it in the story itself, so we'll be seeing it. So the new MacBook Pros are available to order today, and they become available January 24th, so next week. The 14-inch model starts at $19.99, and the 16-inch MacBook Pro starts at $24.99, like I said, out of my price range. Here's a chart breaking down the specs, vary across both 14 and 16-inch versions of the MacBook Pros and their predecessors. The 2021 MacBook Pros, as you can see, there are a few differences aside from performance and connectivity. So back to the chart. Let's see if there's anything that sticks out. You can see the difference in price. This was 2 years ago's version. So you can see the screen difference. So I'm not going to go over all this. I'll let you guys read it for yourselves if you want to. But there are some differences, and they do point them out in the story. So, who is the new MacBook Pro for? Apple says the new MacBook Pro laptops are designed for demanding tasks like effects rendering, which is 6 times faster than the Intel-based MacBook Pro, and color grading, which is up to 2 times faster. These machines are also tailor-made for video editing, photo editing, and coding projects. I would think they would be. The M2 Pro chip. The M2 Pro chip for the new MacBook Pros features a 10 or 12 core CPU. That's a lot of cores, with up to 8 high performance cores and 4 high efficiency cores for up to 20% greater performance than the M1 Pro. So a lot better. You also get 200 gigabytes of unified memory bandwidth, double the M2, and 32 gigabytes of unified memory. That's a whole lot of memory. There's also a next generation GPU with up to 19 cores, promising up to 30% more graphics performance. Last but not least, the Neural Engine is 40% faster. I guess it would be, which is designed to speed up video analysis, image processing, and similar tasks. The M2 Max chip, this is like the super duper one. M2 Max chip takes things even further with a beefier GPU featuring up to 38 cores. Boy, that's a lot of cores. This should lead to 30% faster graphics performance than the M1 Max. It's also 400 gigabytes of unified memory, double the Pro, the M2 Pro, and 96 gigabytes of unified memory. Apple imagines this chip being used for intensive graphic workloads. I can see where it would be. Apple's M2 Max chip has 12-core CPU, 8 high-performance cores, and 4 high-efficiency cores, and it's rated up to 20% faster performance of M1 Max, and with 2 times the ProRes acceleration to speed up transcoding and media playback. Yeah, I'm sure that thing is lightning fast. For the money, I guess it should be. But a lot of power there. The biggest news with the new MacBook Pros could be battery life. The new 14-inch MacBook Pro is rated for up to 18 hours of movie playback and 12 hours of wireless web surfing. And the 16-inch model is rated for a whopping 22 hours of movie playback and 15 hours of web searching. Wi-Fi 6E and upgraded HDMI. Other upgrades include Wi-Fi 6E connectivity, which is up to twice as fast as the previous connection. Well, I guess it would be with 6E, as well as 8K display support through the HDMI port. That is good. The HDMI port can also support 4K display up to 240 hertz. All the other ports are the same as before, including 3 Thunderbolt 4 ports, MagSafe charging, and a headphone jack. The outlook. The new MacBook Pro 14-inch and 16-inch have the same design as their predecessors, but the extra power and battery life sounds promising. Yeah, I'd say so. Stay tuned for more info on both the 14-inch MacBook Pro and the 16-inch MacBook Pro for our full reviews. So just thought I should put that first, since I'm sure there are some of you that would be interested in it. There are probably some of you that could even afford it. I can't. So let's get out of free to view. See if there's anything new in the comments. Okay. All right, now we'll get to the T-Mobile thing. And like I said, this just came out last night, actually. So again, it's on Tom's Guide, and I just said another T-Mobile data breach. So T-Mobile suffers massive data breach that exposes personal data of 37 million customers. Hackers use one of T-Mobile's own APIs to gain access to its systems. That's great that they can just take over a T-Mobile API. That's by Anthony Spadafora, same guy who usually tells us about these things. So let's put it in reader view. And I don't think anything critical has been exposed, but this is sad. This is like, what, within 6 months, the second big one they've had? T-Mobile has suffered yet another data breach, with the mobile carrier revealing in a regulatory filing that up to 37 million of its customers may be affected. That seems to me that's kind of around the same number as last time. The U.S. mobile carrier first discovered that hackers had entered its systems on January 5th of this year. So it's already been a couple of weeks. In a press release, T-Mobile explained that access to its systems was shut down within 24 hours. Now, when I first read that, I'm like, boy, they could have done a lot and gotten a lot of data in 24 hours, but it gets worse. But during that time, the hackers behind the attack managed to obtain a great deal of its customers' personal data. However, as reported by the Wall Street Journal, the company believes that the hackers may have access to its system since November 25th of last year. So it's been, almost a month now. So it took them weeks to even find out about it. Besides conducting its own internal investigation, T-Mobile also worked with law enforcement agencies and cybersecurity consultants to discover how they were able to access its systems. As it turns out, a bad actor used a single application programming interface, or API, to obtain limited types of information from customer accounts. That's the good thing, limited types of information. Fortunately, T-Mobile systems and policies prevented the most sensitive types of customer information from being accessed, but a concerning amount of customer data has been exposed as the result of the data breach. Now, of course, me as a programmer for 34 years, I was thinking about this, and I'm like, okay, so you were able to keep the to limited types of, so what's the difference between what they got in and what they didn't get in? What's the difference in the programming around keeping that stuff secure? It seems to me you should have had the same security for the entire system. Now, of course, most of my, or a lot of my programming career, I did a lot of instant online stuff where you had instant access. So, of course, I had to come up with ways of protecting the data myself. And since most of it I programmed one end to the other with nobody else doing it, I could look at the entire system and say, okay, this is what I have to do. This is what I have to do. But you would think they'd be able to, if they can protect part of the system, that they could protect all of the system. Just my thinking as a former programmer. Customer info exposed, but not financial data, thank God. According to T-Mobile, the hackers responsible for the company's second major data breach may have accessed customer names, billing addresses, emails, phone numbers, birth dates, and account numbers through the number of lines on their accounts, and plan features could also have been accessed. So that's bad enough. No passwords, payment information, social security numbers, government ID numbers, or other financial account information was exposed as a result of the data breach. So whatever you're doing to protect those, do it to the rest of the system. That's how I think. Although T-Mobile tried to downplay the breach with its statement on the matter by saying the customer information obtained is widely available in marketing databases or directories, it's still a big deal, and the company could face scrutiny and possibly even fines from regularly. I think they absolutely deserve a fine this time. With all this information in the hands of hackers, T-Mobile customers are likely to fall victim to phishing attacks. Yeah, and that's where you're going to get your phishing from the emails. But we've already talked about that. Or even identity theft. Let's hope not. T-Mobile has committed to making substantial multi-year investments to strengthen its cybersecurity program, but it hasn't gone as far as to offer the best identity theft protection services free of charge to its customers yet. I would think somebody's probably going to force them to do that, the government, pretty soon. However, this could change, especially if there's a lot of backlash regarding the breach, and I would hope there'll be a lot of backlash. And one thing I should mention, when I said I used to do a lot of this stuff myself, now, I was always a contractor or a consultant, almost always when I worked on this stuff. And that's how most of these companies, they hire outside contractors or contracting companies to do this stuff for them. So then who knows how many different programmers and how many different people you had working on this stuff. And that's where you can get into trouble, unless somebody is watching over the entire plan very closely, which you would hope. Although you can install the best antivirus software in your computer to protect you from malware and other cyber attacks, there really isn't much you can do when the company you do business with falls victim to a data breach. That's true. As login information wasn't exposed, changing your password won't do much good. That's true. But it might be worthwhile if you want using a strong, complex, and unique password to secure your T-Mobile account. So I don't think you'd have to worry about that. That's just my guess. If you're extra cautious, though, you may still want to consider investing in identity theft protection, as many of the companies that offer these services include dark web scans that can look and see if your personal information is already in the hands of hackers. See our roundup, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, you can invest in identity theft stuff, but that's not going to stop them from getting to T-Mobile. In this case, we just have to wait and see just as to how T-Mobile responds. For instance, thousands of PayPal customers recently fell victim to a credential stuffing attack, and the company provided them with free identity monitoring for 2 years, even though it wasn't at fault, which is, I think, the same type of thing that T-Mobile should do here. So, I guess none of the super critical data was involved, or accounts or money, but this is really bad, and I hope they get more than a slap on the wrist this time. That's just my hope. So that's what happened with T-Mobile. Brian says T-Mobile always getting it. Well, it didn't used to be that way, but yeah, let's hope it's not becoming a habit. Big House, glad you're here, brother. He says, glad I'm on AT&T. See, I've been with T-Mobile since 2012, and I love T-Mobile, but not when they do stuff like, or when they allow stuff like this. I can't say when they do stuff like this. So, all right. Mike said he'd probably come in later rather than sooner, so I'm watching for him or Ted or Will to come in. All right, so let's go on down to this week's. We hadn't talked about Twitter for a few weeks. That was good, but this one I think hacked off a lot of people. So this is on The Verge. Third-party Twitter clients banned. Now, this is kind of confusing the way Twitter's explaining it, and even in the story they say the same thing, but you'll see what I mean. Twitter officially bans third-party clients with new developer rules. When it cited long-standing third-party API rules for why Tweetbot et al. Were blocked, it was unclear what the company meant. And that's the thing. They're not explaining this very well. They're saying the rules were there already, but they're also saying new developer rules. So let's see if we can read the story and make some sense out of it. Going to read a view, and this was by Mitchell Clark. And this was just updated yesterday. Twitter has updated its developer rules to ban third-party clients. Yeah, a lot of people use third-party clients to get into Twitter. Almost a week after it unceremoniously blocked the app's access to its platform, offering almost no explanation to what was going on. And that was from Engadget. The new rules state you can't use Twitter's API or content to create or attempt to create a substitute or similar service or product to the Twitter applications, which is exactly what third-party APIs are for. The rules updated on Thursday, and that's key. Updated on Thursday means they did something different. Make it clear what that means. Twitter applications refers to the company's consumer-facing products, services, applications, website, web pages, platforms, and other offerings. In other words, it has to be Twitter's apps that you're using, not somebody else's, including without limitation those offered via HTTPS Twitter and Twitter's mobile application. So if it's not Twitter, they're saying you can't access. The clause banning alternative services was added to the rules with the most recent update. So now they're saying it was added with the most recent update, but they're saying it was there all along. So hard to understand what the heck they mean. But for years, a lot of us have been able to get to Twitter using third-party apps, and I think we should. So let's see what the rest is. Hey, Renz, glad you're here, brother. I'm sure you were busy. So let me get through this. The rule change comes after Twitter silently broke several popular third-party Twitter clients like Tweetbot. Yeah, that's a very popular one. And Twitterrific, that's one I didn't know, starting on January 12th. At the time, the developers behind the apps, many of which have historically shaped the entire Twitter user experience, that's true, said they had received no communication whatsoever from the company about what was happening. So they're saying it got updated last week, and well, then the company should have let these guys know about it, especially like Tweetbot. Then on January 17th, the company's developer account tweeted that it was enforcing its long-standing API rules. So they're saying the API rules were there, I guess, and they weren't enforcing them. Now they are, I guess, which may result in some apps not working. The statement was not positively received. Yes, an understatement, I'll bet. Several commentators and developers pointed out the lack of clarity, I agree, about what rules were actually being broken and the fact that the apps had been running for years before Elon Musk purchased Twitter, and that's very true, and started espousing plans to turn it into an everything app. That's true. In 2021, former Twitter developer platform lead Amir Shevat told me that the company was specifically trying to make it easier for developers to compete with Twitter's first-party apps with a recent rule change. So they were trying to make it easier. I guess Elon decided, no, we're going to make it harder. We have been respectful of their API rules as published for the past 16 years. Yeah, wrote Jed Mahu, a co-founder of Twitterrific developer, the Icon Factory, in a blog post about the app being down. We have no knowledge that these rules have changed recently or what these changes might be. And that's the troubling thing here. These apps have the same access for years and years. So to just change it without telling people is pretty bad, I think. Craig Hockenberry, principal at Icon Factory, put it more bluntly on his personal blog. There was no advance notice for its creators. Customers just got a weird error and no one is explaining what's going on. Yep. We had no chance to thank customers who have been with us for over a decade. Instead, it's just another scene in their ongoing SHIT show. Money is likely one of the reasons behind the rule change and third-party client ban. Could be. Twitter has been struggling financially since Musk took over, saddling it with billions in debt, and third-party clients likely earn less money than its first-party one. That's probably true. Yeah, they probably make more with their own apps. While some developers pay to access the API, the company doesn't serve ads through it, reducing its ability to monetize people using alternative apps. That's true. It does. Pardon me. It doesn't help that people using third-party clients may not be as interested in the Twitter Blue subscription service, which is where Elon wants everybody, which mainly adds features to the official Twitter app. There seemingly, and I get this, hasn't been any official announcement of the rule change, either from Twitter dev or Elon Musk. Now, this sentence is hilarious and it's very sad. Twitter doesn't have a communications department to contact. I assume that means now they don't. They must have had one before. But that is very sad. They don't even have a communications department to contact. So, this is the first time I really big time disagree with what Elon's been doing, even though he's been losing money like crazy. So I thought that was kind of an important story. So let's get out here. This story. Let's stop screen for a minute. So, Renz, we're glad you got in here. And I guess you're probably busy at work. Let's see. He's saying hello to everybody. Oh, Mr. Mario, glad you're here. Welcome aboard, brother. I haven't seen you here. I'm not sure. Have I seen you here before, Mario? If I have, it's been a long time. I see you on Facebook almost every day, but I'm glad you're here. Big house. I wish Elon would stick to selling cars. Well, I don't mind Elon trying to do something positive, but stop screwing things up. Like, to me, this is a big screw up because a lot of people use third-party apps and exclusively third-party apps to go into Twitter. I used to, for my first couple of years that I was in Twitter, I used a third-party app. I don't even remember what it was now, but hopefully he'll get it right at some point. I hope, but I hope it's soon. Anyway. Okay, no Mike or anybody else yet, folks. So we're going to continue with our stories. Let me share screen. All right, down to our next story. And I just said Goldman Sachs taking big losses thanks to Apple Card. And this was on 9 to 5 Mac. And I think this is about a week old, but I hadn't seen it before. So I just thought it was kind of an important story. I don't use Apple Card, but I guess a lot of people do. And Goldman Sachs, I guess, has been taking losses since the beginning. So Apple Card responsible for more than $1 billion in losses for Goldman Sachs. And that's by Michael Potok. So let's go into reader view. Goldman Sachs submitted a regulatory filing today, this was a week ago, for its Platform Solutions group of businesses that includes Apple Card. The collection of consumer offerings from Goldman's is on track for a loss of $4 billion since 2020, with Apple Card making up more than $1 billion of that. I think it actually makes more than that, but we'll see as we go along. Reported by Bloomberg, the new performance details from Goldman's Platform Solutions division paint a grim picture. In just the first 9 months of 2022, and that seems to be when it really got bad, the businesses, including Apple Card, saw a pre-tax loss of over $1.2 billion. Looking back to 2020 through the end of September 2022, those losses amounted to $3 billion. But when quarter four results of 2022 are included soon, the number is expected to be close to $4 billion. So that's a lot of loss. Apple Card was launched in the U.S. back in August 2019, and it's unclear exactly how much of the $4 billion in losses have stemmed from it. However, sources close to the matter believe most of the $1 billion loss in 2021 came from Apple Card. And there are another $2 billion in 2022 losses believed to be mostly from Apple Card and one other Goldman lending platform called Green Sky, which I don't even know what that is. With all of that in mind, plus the unknown of how much was lost on Apple Card in 2019 and 2020, it looks like Goldman has spent somewhere between $1 to $3 billion on the consumer credit card. The main cause of the losses is said to be from lost loan provisions. That's a lot of lost loan provisions. That's when a bank sets aside money as an expense for future loans it expects won't be repaid. So they're expecting a lot of people to be taken advantage. Previous estimates inside Goldman aimed for breaking even with the Platform Solutions division by 2022. Now the company is hoping that it could do that in 2025. So now they've had to extend it out. Sources believe the transaction banking business line is likely the only profitable part of the Platform Solutions division. So it sounds like they put so much money aside to get ready for any loan loss that's where this is mainly coming from, where this huge billions of losses is coming from. So here's 9 to 5 Mac's take. The most common question I hear when Apple Card comes up is why haven't they launched it in any other countries? Getting a look into the challenging economics of launching a credit card could definitely explain why Apple hasn't expanded the product in more than 3 years since it debuted. A 6-year or even longer break even would be difficult from the perspective of getting Goldman to invest more to expand, or Apple trying to partner with another bank in different countries. Yeah, if they see that it's going to take 6 years for them to become profitable, I can see where they wouldn't want to do it. The credit card market is stiff with lots of competition. While Apple definitely has a leg up with a sharp iPhone software integration, strong security features, and no annual fee, it's relatively weak when it comes to incentive like its daily cashback program. Yeah, that cashback program doesn't sound too good. Apple offers 3% back on Apple purchases, and at a few select retailers, and 2% back with Apple Pay purchases. But most purchases earn just 1%. Not good. That's tough when other cards offer 5% back at popular retailers that consumers shop at regularly, among a range of other benefits. Are you using Apple Card? Is it your main card or just for Apple purchases? Share your thoughts in the comments. So I don't use Apple Card, but I guess probably a lot of people do. And Goldman's looks like they're going to be taking losses for a couple of years yet. So just thought that was an interesting story that people should know about. So, okay, nobody's come in yet. Okay, nothing new in the comments. All right, so we'll go on to our next story. Okay, only a couple more stories, so I hope Mike gets in here at some point. Okay, I just thought this was an interesting story since the Ultra hasn't even come out yet, but there's a bunch of stories out there saying how much better the Ultra X23 Ultra is going to be. Let me see. Big House is saying, don't use it. Apple is already taxing me with Apple Plus. I can see the point. Yeah. I'm just not adding to my credit cards. I have enough cards as it is. So, and I can see your point, Big House. Okay. So S23 Ultra Performance is a big step forward compared to the S22. I should have said S22 Ultra. And this was on Giz China. So Galaxy S23 Ultra, a leap in performance compared to the S22 Ultra. And it's just by Nick. Let's get a read review. Okay. And this is just from 3 days ago. Although it's not official, the Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra is already undergoing performance tests. Results that are quite encouraging and specifically point to two areas where there has been a big generational leap. The Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra will be powered by Qualcomm's new Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chip, which is no longer a secret. A preliminary performance test reveals a very noticeable performance difference, now get this, when compared to the S22 Ultra's Exynos chip. So, in other countries outside the US, a lot of them, especially in Europe, got the Exynos chip. So sure, this is using the Snapdragon chip is a lot better than the Exynos chip. However, another significant advantage will also help Samsung's upcoming premium smartphone. There are critics of the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra in Europe. The product in some parts of the world is equipped with the Samsung Exynos 2200 chip. It hasn't been able to match the performance and efficiency of the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1. Yeah, and they've been complaining about that for years. The European version of the S23 Ultra, which will reportedly use Qualcomm's latest Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 CPU, shouldn't have this problem. Well, thank God for them. A big improvement in performance for the Galaxy S23 Ultra. The latter was the focus of a test on Geekbench that provided a summary of the Galaxy S23 Ultra's performance with this new SoC. So we have the chance to compare it to the S22 Ultra's performance on the same test. It is not expected that single-core and multi-core produce superior performance. However, as noted on Twitter by the insider Ice Universe, this is not enough for you to feel the speed this is enough for you to feel the speed on a regular basis. So it's got to be a lot faster if you can just notice it, and not just in the scores. A statement supported by some stunning numbers. This results in a 25% increase in single-core performance. That's big, and a 45% increase in multi-core performance. Those are big increases. The improvement in graphics performance is 60%. That's a whole lot. A rather significant improvement can also be seen in the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2's energy efficiency, which is great, which is 88% better than the Exynos's 2200s. Yeah, I can see why you wouldn't want to use the Exynos anymore. This might result in a considerable increase in autonomy. Now they're comparing it, the Samsung, with the Vivo V2227A Geekbench scores. And I guess the Vivo must be just a good one. But the single core, Vivo beat it, and in multi-core, Vivo beat it. I'm not clear if this is, I guess this is the Exynos. So I wish they would have given us the score from the Snapdragon, but it looks like they didn't. So, although Apple's A16 Bionic appears to be a step ahead, yeah, Apple's still ahead. Qualcomm and TSMC appear to have done a great job of providing high-end Android products with a really capable chip. Not quite as good as Apple's. So, here's Ted. What's up, brother?
Hey.
Just finishing up this story. This would result in a more responsive and fluid user interface in addition to improved performance for demanding jobs like video gaming. Additionally, we can anticipate a big increase in autonomy, though this will need confirmation during tests. The Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra's Exynos 2200 processor struggles to maintain a high level of performance when under a lot of pressure. Thank God they won't be using, well, I'm assuming they won't be using it anymore. Certainly not in the S23 Ultra. A flaw that the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 does not have, as seen, for instance, on the Xiaomi 12T Pro. Consequently, the upcoming Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 holds enormous promise for premium Android devices in 2023. So I'm sure in Europe they're saying, goodbye, Exynos. Very happy about that. That's good. Are you listening to me in the background?
I was.
Okay. So how are you?
It's all right. It's oh, sorry, got locked out of the screen. Day is another day. Weekend. Thank goodness it's Friday, I guess.
Okay. Do you have a good week?
Yeah.
Let's see. Big House. I have heard nothing but bad things about the Exynos chip. Yeah, and I guess to be fair, Big House, because it always gets compared to the Qualcomm chip, and it's never been able to compare favorably. So yeah, it makes sense that we have heard nothing but bad stuff. You know, Renz is saying, true about the Exynos. Yeah, he would know. We only have Exynos chips on all Sammy here, except when the S22 lineup, we got the Snapdragon here. Well, that's good. So I hope now. I see. It's telling us about the S23 Ultra, but I'm not sure about the other two S23s whether they're getting the Exynos chip or not. So I guess they'll have to wait and see. And Renz, you tell us when it comes out what you're getting over there in the Philippines, because it looks like the Philippines are not getting the same thing as they are in Europe either. So I guess in Europe it's some the other, but at least for the Ultra 20, the 23 Ultra, everybody's getting the Qualcomm. So everybody's saying hello to Ted. What else?
Oh, Renz is asking what's today's sponsor.
Oh yeah. Yes, you got your sponsor?
Yes. Tonight's Friday Night Tech Talk is brought to you by LaCroix. Get into the island spirit, Mon, with the nice coconut flavor that's been essenced into carbonated water.
Well, I guess all I can say is, okay. Well, I guess all I can say is no problem, Mon. Okay. And Anthony is in here. Hey, Anthony, glad to see you. He's saying, seriously, how much better can a Snapdragon get in performance? They say this every year. I guess there'll be people leaping through the streets with utter amazement. Well, yeah, because people in Europe and I guess over in the Philippines too have been stuck on the Exynos. So I guess they're going to be happy as all get out if they can get off the Exynos.
Yeah, but my project has a point though. Like, I'm happy with smartphones performance in terms of
Right.
CPU, GPU performance. Now give us the nice thermal management and the more battery.
Exactly. All right. So Renz is promising he'll let me know what they get. Big House says they are using Apple's strategy, and Anthony's saying hello. Yeah, and Renz also said no problem, man. And Anthony's saying stop at Samsung. I can understand that. Let's see, Brian. I hear you. My project 13. I think they should focus on battery life and thermals. Well, the ones who should focus on thermals is Google, in my opinion. Let's see.
I would put my money on Sony. So.
Oh, so it's only bad about overheating also?
Yeah.
Okay. Didn't know that.
There have been legends.
So the only Sonys I've had go back 4 years, and I was getting the mid rangers 4 years ago. So I never had any of the expensive Sonys.
But yeah, the Sonys has been overheating since their Z days, the Xperia Z days, since the Z1. They've always overheated.
Now, do they overheat to the way that some of the Pixels do, where it just shuts the camera down on you?
I've never had my Pixel overheat on me, but
it'll overheat. The only one I ever had was I had the 5A, and of course I know the 5 had the same issue. The camera would just shut down on you after about a minute and a half, if you were in 4K 60.
But yeah, it overheated. The Sonys have a history of overheating to the point where they will shut the phone off.
Right.
They don't shut the phone off, but they give you the splash screen, don't do anything. Let this phone cool down. So
okay, yeah.
Forget about the camera. They don't want you to do anything. They'll
Yeah, and some of the Pixels would just shut the camera off. The rest of the phone would be okay. It didn't shut it down. But I've seen I can't remember which phones going back a couple of years. I had a couple of other phones that when it was really warm out, like in the 90s, it would just shut the camera down too, and then you couldn't use it for a while. So let's see. Let's see. Anthony says, you took the flat right out of my head. I wasn't thinking about battery, but I was definitely thinking about thermals. Okay. Took the thought, I'm sure, right out of his head. Yeah, Brian saying Sony and Pixels overheat. Yeah, thank God I haven't had it on the 7, and I haven't had it on the Pixel 6 Pro either. So, Ren said maybe it depends on the climate. That's probably true to some, at least with some phones. Brian saying my Pixel 3 overheated enough that the back plate was coming. Wow. And the battery that's some serious overheating with the battery swelling. Yeah, my first one was the 3A, and I didn't have any overheating problems with that at all. And I had the 3A, the 4A, the 5A was bad, real bad as far as overheating.
My overheating issues was, the Xperia Z2, that did overheat a couple times. But that was just, it would just ask me to close the camera app because I was recording. I would be recording in 4K. Okay. Next phone to overheat would be, I think it was the LG G8X never gave me the overheating warning, or maybe
I never got that on the G8X either.
But it's still all the same though. It would throttle like crazy when it got hot. So
okay, yeah, I didn't have the G8X that long because once Don wanted to buy it from me, I sold it, and he loves it ever since, and I don't think he's had any issues with it at all.
Yeah. Next
And
phone,
Brian,
iPhone 11. That overheated once on me. Very scary
really?
moment.
See,
Yeah, I was.
I never had any of that with the iPhone 11. You know.
Yeah, it was. I was using it as a GPS in the car. Texas heat. It was like 90 degrees outside.
Okay.
So like
Yeah.
while I
See,
was using the GPS, the phone just like hey, I'm cooling down. So I was like driving on the highway for like 10, 15 minutes, like waiting for it to cool down so I could know where to get off the exit.
okay. Yeah, I remember once with the 5A, I actually had to put it up to the air conditioner in the car for about 2 minutes, and then it finally cooled down enough to use. And I think the 5 and 5A were two of the worst. And he's saying his 7 Pro overheated, and Brian's been saying his 7 Pro overheats all along. And Mike and I haven't had any overheating issues with the. Seems like people have it with the Pro much more than the 7. But I remember somebody saying they had it with the 7, but I can't remember who it was.
And I think the record for hottest phone. No, I don't think anyone's ever done a record, done a competition on which phones gets the hottest.
Right,
but
right.
I would have to put my money on, I think the hottest phone today was the Xperia Z3V.
Okay.
That was during the Snapdragon 810, the early Snapdragon 810.
Yeah, and the 810 had some issues. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that with a bunch of phones, yeah.
Yeah, and in fact, it was crazy because Sony was trying to be smart. They deliberately turned off 2 of the cores on the A10 they used for the Z3V,
thinking it would help it.
It did not help. The phone got ridiculously hot.
Okay,
it burned people.
Well, now of course, the Pixels haven't treated me that well to the point where Mike told me to stop buying them. That's true. But here he makes a good point. Hottest phone was a Note 7.
I was just thinking about that, Brian.
Yeah, hands down.
Technically, yeah.
Yeah, hands down. The Note 7 wins that. Yep. Okay. You want to read the last story that I've got?
Sure. What's the story?
The Samsung 360 folding display. Let me know when you've got it.
Yeah, I got it. You can put it on the screen.
All right. And me put it on screen here. Okay. Here we go. And this was on The Verge. So whenever you're ready.
Samsung display shows off a new folding hinge that can rotate 360 degrees. Samsung has a new prototype that could send its folding phones in a new direction, 360 degrees. Samsung Display, the subsidiary that makes the phone's company screens, showed off new prototype display and hinge at CES 2023. It was the first time hearing about it.
Yeah, me too, because I didn't see anything about it while CES was going on. And they just came out with this story like yesterday.
Let's see. The flex in and out display can rotate 360 degrees, meaning it can fold inward and outward. Company spokesperson John Lucas told The Verge in an email. In addition, the display comes with a different hinge design that supposedly creates a significantly less visible crease. That's good. That's because the water drop hinge could allow the display to form a looser shape, like a water drop when folded inward. This subtler hinge would also put less stress on the display. It's not the first time Samsung Display has shown off a flex in and out prototype, embracing the fold in all directions design. In 2021, a flex in and out display also made an appearance at South Korea's International Meeting for Information Displays, reports Tom Guide. However, the approach was different and the display folded in an S with multiple segments. As of Galaxy Z Fold, which was released in August 2022, the Samsung's Fold line is still using displays that fold in one flat direction. It's possible the new screen could show up in the Z Fold 5, though. Rumors have suggested the device could feature a less visible crease thanks to a similar hinge design. The design would fix what some would see as a The Z Fold and the Z Flips 4 flawed U-shaped hinge, which creates a prominent crease. It would also make the Z Fold 5 more similar to foldable smartphone rivals with less prominent creases, like the Find N2 and the third generation Motorola Z, Motorola Razr. It's not known when the Samsung will release the Z Fold 5, though we expect the company to release it along with the Z Flip 5 in August. In the meantime, all eyes are on the Galaxy S23 series, which Samsung will launch during its upcoming Unpacked events February 1st.
Yep.
It's coming up.
Looking forward to that. I'm kind of excited about that.
I couldn't give a rat's petunia.
Okay. Well, I'm hoping to trade in my plan is to trade in my S22 Plus for the 23 Ultra. So
You got some super chats.
I haven't seen them yet. Wait a minute. Okay. Oh yeah. Brian, thank you as always, sir, and Renz also. Thank you very, very much, sir. Always very grateful for you guys. What was Big House saying? Oh, wait, let me stop the screen. Big House is saying, I remember Easy Computer Solutions Galaxy S21 Ultra used to run hot. Yeah, me too. I traded in on A Fold 4, I believe. Now, I've been using the S21 Ultra, but I didn't bring it today. But I never had an overheat. And I remember when he had the overheating issue. But I never had any overheating issues with that. Oh, Big House, thank you very much, sir. Very, very much appreciated.
Hey,
so I was surprised when Eric said that he was having the overheating issues with the S21 Ultra. Oh, here's Mike. Good timing, Mike. We just finished our last stories. It's pretty good.
Hey, how you all doing? First off, am I sounding okay?
Yeah, you sound fine to me.
No, this Mike.
It sounds fine. What do you think, Ted? It sounds good to me. What do you think?
Last time
good.
Okay. No, I mean last time it was. I think I got the gain right. I got the volume right.
Well, yeah, but you haven't been gaining. You've been losing. Oh. And you've been losing steadily.
Yeah. It's I wanted to I don't know if I want to try to get to 249 before April and keep it there because I get these. I was 255, now I'm 250, almost 257 again.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'10".
Okay, because I knew you weren't that much shorter than me. Now, for years, for a few years, I was 238. Now, when I got the bicycle and started, and that's 7 years now, I dropped 38 pounds right off the bat. No, 48, I think. And it stayed off ever since, but I've been riding the bicycle for 7 years.
That's what you need to do, Mike. Stop the car vlogs and start the bicycle vlogs.
Yeah, really. If I can only ride to 30 some miles to work one way, so that'll be a heck of a.
I used to ride to work, but I did it on a motorcycle, not on a bicycle.
Well, hey, Ted, let me tell you now. I don't think the Delaware Port Authority would care for me to ride my bike over the bridge. Okay,
I wouldn't think so.
Yeah, Mike's going to sign up for the UFC heavyweight division. No, I don't know. I think I'm working towards. Is there what's welterweight or the lightweight? I don't know.
I don't even know if the UFC has a lightweight division.
Okay, I'm not. I'm trying not to be heavyweight anymore.
Okay.
I don't know if that means anything.
It is good stuff. I'm trying to get. I've gotten tired of the hills, though. I'm trying to get into an e-bike, though.
Yeah.
Why is that? Why is everybody buying? I can see an e-bike for somebody who commutes to work. Other than that, it seems to me you're working.
Well, that's what you're doing, Ted, aren't you? Are you doing that too?
Against yourself as far as exercise if you have an e-bike. I don't understand why, but everybody's buying them. And every time I go to the park, I'm seeing more e-bikes, and I'm always thinking, yeah, but I'm exercising more than you are now because I'm not using electricity to help me.
Well, I use my bike more as like a more for commuting than exercise. So
Okay, for commuting, it makes sense to me. It just doesn't make sense to me for just pure exercise. That's
yeah, or recreation. Yeah, like
yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. So funny you mention that because I saw a few bikers in town, and I'm like thinking, well, Ted. I mean, I thought of you, George. I say, well, he does ride like almost 18. Well, 18 miles seems like your golden spot.
Yeah, 17 is my minimum. 18, 19, I'm okay. But a few years ago, I was doing 20 when I found my legs were killing me for days. Well, I did 20 miles the other day, and my legs took 3 days before they recovered.
We recovered, yeah. So
I've got to keep it to 19 to 17.
I want to try and get the walking and get a go. And think I'm going to walk. No, I know I'm going to walk tomorrow. I want to get a mile and an eighth ish.
Now you
and
still
then I want to move
out the back and up that hill and around it like you were doing before.
I'm still tackling the hill.
Okay, yeah,
for sure.
I know we've been there. Yeah,
I'm going to get that hill and then I come back down, or it depends. Sometimes I change up and go the other way, and I get the hill first, and then it's all down from there, and walk more of my neighborhood. I want to try and get to 1.25 miles in the next week or so. Maybe next week I want to try to tackle 1.25 miles. I'm looking forward to tomorrow because the weather's supposed to be really nice as far as sunny, and it's a drag doing this exercising thing at night. Well, it's night, but it isn't night. If you know what I'm saying. I'm looking forward to a spring. So
yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. So what's going on, guys? What's I see in the comments earlier, about the T-Mobile things really got me thinking. About.
And that's my line of choice. This really upsets me.
Yeah. That's I say. 3 times now. Is it 3 or 4?
No, it's 2 big ones. There was a small one, but this one and the last one were big ones.
Wasn't it? Weren't they sued?
I don't remember. I think they need to be. I think Congress needs to slap them pretty hard now. That's just my opinion.
Well, like I said, do we vote with our wallet? You know what I mean, George?
Yeah, and that's my problem. See, I love my T-Mobile service. And I don't.
Hey,
I just. Did you guys get this in the mail?
No, what'd you get?
It's a court-approved legal notice for the T-Mobile data breach settlement, care from Kroll Settlement Administration.
Oh, really? When did you get that?
I got it this week around Tuesday.
I don't think I haven't gotten it.
Now, what is that? What is that telling you there? Do you get a confirmation of how much you could get? What, $5?
Yeah. Let's see who's included. Records indicate that you are included in this settlement as a class member. Ka-ching. T-Mobile will establish a $350 million settlement fund that will be used to pay for cash payments for up to $25,000 for.
You're gonna get $25. Okay.
Yeah, that's a good
for
day.
Out-of-pocket losses and lost time that you believe you are fairly traceable to the data breach, or alternative cash payment of $25, $100 in California. Yeah, you are right. 2 years of free identity defense services. Why is it always 2 years? Why can't they do lifetime, for goodness sake?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. All cash payments must be adjusted pro rata. How to get benefits. You must submit a claim form, including any required documentation. You don't need to file to claim access to the restoration services. Deadline to file this form is January 23rd. Got to go to this.
So Monday. Okay. And
file a claim.
I think I did get something in email, and I just decided it wasn't worth it.
You got to go to tmobilesettlement.com.
Right. Because I'd be surprised if Eleanor and I didn't get it, because we've been with T-Mobile for 11 years now.
Yeah, this was for the 2021 T-Mobile data breach.
Okay. Yeah. Brian's talking about the weight thing, Mike. He says, just chill with me for a week. will melt the way up. See, what I get scared about when anybody else is trying to ride with me, if they're not used to doing it, I'm afraid. I'm always telling them, take it easy, start slow. Because I didn't start out at doing 20 miles in a day. The first day that Elmer and I rode 7 years ago, I think we only rode 2 miles because we hadn't been on bikes in years. And then I just
Right.
she fell once and hurt herself pretty bad, and that kind of stopped her. And I started working my way up. I worked my way up to 10 miles, then 12 miles, then 15 miles, and then I started going 20.
Now, are you riding in a park?
Yes,
Or like a state grounds or something?
It's the Tennessee River Park. It runs along the river, and then I take an offshoot and there's a creek that comes right off the Tennessee River that goes all the way through Chattanooga. Well, now the other trail, I just follow that creek for about 6 miles, and then I come back.
George, you're familiar with my neighborhood, so you see when I post the picture from my Samsung Health. You recognize the area where I'm walking.
Yes,
yeah,
Yep.
So it's given me I like the idea of walking in my neighborhood because I've driven by all these places. Never really walked by. So seeing it up close and personal, then you get to see different. It's just different.
Well, your neighborhood is very nice too.
So. Yeah. So yeah. But getting back to T-Mobile, it's really got me thinking, and I'm assuming that you, George, have a really great plan. I have a really great plan. I have an old grandfathered unlimited plan going back when T-Mobile was trying to steal. They threw everything in the kitchen sink. Well, I got the kitchen sink, with them plan.
I have my 3 lines cost me $116 a month.
That's not bad. And one of them is the free one, right?
Right. One of them was the free one. Yeah. Now, when Eleanor and I were still married, I had 4 lines for $120 a month. So for me, it's pretty easy. Let me see what these guys are saying.
Broken Joel Thursday is their new promotion.
He said he hears the settlement the big guys 25 to 100. See, I didn't bother because I figured I'll pay for $25. I'm not going to bother.
That's what it says here.
Yeah. Hey, Ted, you're right. You're going to wind up getting two dozen eggs with the $25, So.
Oh well, I got a dozen eggs.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It really bothers me to a point with it.
Okay.
And sometimes I'm like I was sitting here thinking, doing the math, and there's plenty of other plans out there. You got the Visible plan right now for $15 for a year of that. Mint is always coming out with deals. They give you great deals for new customers. And I can probably easily get the same plans, the same amount, spend the same amount. And I'm going to do a follow-up video on my T-Mobile home internet service.
I wish I could get that, but it just doesn't come to my street.
No.
Around my neighborhood, but not to my street.
It's basically what is the towers. Now, mind you, it's completely, the only wire you're plugging in is to the wall for powering it up. It's an overgrown hotspot.
Right, exactly.
So it's pulling from, and that's why you're not getting it, because it must not have a strong enough tower nearby to get the, to make the service worth it where you're at.
Now that I come to Eleanor's, I get the
you got the fiber.
Yeah, I got the fiber. So
yeah. So
they'll never come close to that. Where's Will? His Will.
There's Will. Will's here.
What's
yes,
up, brother?
Sir.
You can come on in if you want to.
So, guys, did he tell you what he did?
No.
I'm going to tell you, Will, tough. You're tough. So that that little so and so, he goes and gets himself a Pixel 7 Pro.
Oh,
He gets himself a second line.
Okay.
And he had it for probably about 4 days, and he just returned it.
Oh, he always returns it.
But no, I couldn't get over. He actually got a second line too.
I didn't think he'd get it again.
He got it. He got it.
He said it was so huge. You know.
Yeah, he got it. No, he got it. And what was he said to me? He didn't like carrying two phones.
Okay.
That's totally one of them. That's one of them. He didn't like carrying two phones.
Somebody posted the other day on Twitter that they're so used to carrying two phones, it felt weird to have only one, and I'm the same way.
Mm-hmm. He said the iPhone just does everything the Pixel does, plus iMessage and FaceTime.
Right. How long did he have it?
3 or 4 days.
Okay.
Enough time that I actually I made a contact for him. Okay.
So
I made him a contact, and I just deleted it.
You need to tell us what you're doing with the second line now, Will.
No, I think basically it's month to month anyway. Like I said, it's visible.
Okay.
So
right.
Yeah, he just can't. And he did say, he says, I hate the two phone thing. And I do. I told him what to do is, forward the calls to your phone, and it's I do it. I send a message out to Mom and Adam and Pat saying which phone is the day, and then I always make sure I have the yeah. You tried. I have to hand it to him. He tried a lot longer because I kept on breaking his chops.
I give you credit, Will. I didn't think you'd try again, so good for you.
Yeah.
Now, Brian says Pixel line is like KD burner accounts. Okay. Well, I got to give him credit though for giving it. He
tried more in 2 days. I had one about the second day. I started breaking his chops, saying, "Did you return it yet?" He laughed at me.
And for me, the T-Mobile thing, I cannot bring myself to try the MVNO. I'm too spoiled with if for me it's got to be T-Mobile or AT&T. Period. I'm not going to try anything else.
Yeah.
AT&T.
I don't want to go with AT&T. I spent 7.5 years working for contracting for AT&T, so I know what they're like.
Yeah, I gotta do a follow-up video because I've had them for a month and a half, going on 2 months now.
I'll never use Verizon because I know them too much. I worked for them for over a year. So,
ooh, this is so nice. I'm filling out the settlement form, by the way, online.
Are you? Okay.
Surprisingly simple. They're asking me how I want my money. That's most likely going to be.
Will says you're waiting for the effects of Project Treble. Okay. Big House says, I see you grabbed another iPhone SE, Gen 2 or Gen 3, Mike.
Yeah, I just answered him. I got is a Gen 2.
Okay.
Is a Gen 2. Now that phone was an Amazon renewed, and I have to say that thing you couldn't tell it was renewed. The only way you could tell was go into battery health and look at the battery health. Okay. And the battery health was like 89%.
Now, I do not like paying a lot, Will. I just like having the top if I
less money in your bank account. Yeah.
I just like having the top if I can afford the top. And I can't
wait a minute. The top?
Mint, Metro. I don't consider those. I couldn't use them. I could not use them.
Because
I don't want one that's hung on to somebody else. I want the one they're hung on to. I want the top. I don't want the bottom one, the underling. That's how I feel. That's just me.
I've never, ever experienced where they say there was always this comment saying that you get deprioritized. I have ever, but that's me. That doesn't mean I'm at the Lincoln Financial at a football game where everybody's on their phone doing whatever they're doing. That's right. Where they claim that's when potentially
kind of
deep.
makes sense too. But I can remember years ago you could get that on T-Mobile and AT&T. Now, of course, this is 10 years ago.
Mhm.
But yeah, but you could have the same thing happen
Well,
about 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
George, I switched from, well, mind you, I got US Mobile on the iPhone, and that's using Verizon, and I went to Mint Mobile, which is using T-Mobile, and that's that flawless, absolutely flawless service. So
Okay.
I have no qualms using those other ones, and I'm surprised you said that you didn't bring the word Verizon. Now Verizon's the top dog. Verizon is
the top dog. It's as a person who used to work in that billing, they've always been the greediest, and they still are. I don't think that's ever going to change.
They are greedy, and AT&T ain't too far off.
No, AT&T has always been behind them, but Verizon has always been the greediest, and they're never going to change. And
I'm
Verizon
telling you,
will always give you more crap on
This
your
is
phone
weird.
than anybody else.
What's up, Ted? What you got that puzzle look? What's up?
Yeah, the last line is like, please note, if you entered an email address on your claim, you will not receive a confirmation email.
Well, how are you supposed to get a confirmation?
Well, they're not giving you a confirmation. That's what they're telling you.
See? Greedy and scummy, okay?
It's wiggle room. It sounds like wiggle room.
And I'm telling you, they're going to find any way not to pay that $25 to you.
Exactly.
Even if you didn't dot your I and cross your T. Exactly. Watch it.
Oh, we don't have his email address. We can't pay him.
Mm-hmm.
And my answer to that would be, so when did you start paying through email in the first place?
But I knew a girl though who was very snobby about her carrier. I remember I was introducing her when she moved in from Maryland to Dallas, and for like 2 to 3 weeks, she would just be coasting on the Wi-Fi that was close to our office building.
Really?
She would use her iPhone with no carrier services. She would just depend on Wi-Fi until finally I took her to like a Metro. She wanted it to be kept all hush hush because she was like. She considered Metro to be like, an underling thing.
Really?
Yeah. So George isn't alone.
I thought George was not the only one. Okay. Well, I know, for example, AT&T, if you bring them a phone that's not their phone, not an AT&T phone,
right,
there are certain features will not work. Wi-Fi calling being one of them too.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And a few other
up in one of your videos, right?
Mm-hmm. And yes, and I recently discovered that AT&T has now moved to RCS, apparently fully, in their messaging app, and in turn.
Oh, this is what you said you were going to talk about in your next video.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm spilling more beans here, but I'll be talking about it. I'll be talking about it. But anyway, yeah, surprisingly, yes, I have had that. I've seen that happen. All our guys, we use AT&T at work, and all the guys went from the light blue bubble to the dark blue bubble on my phones because I use Android messaging. So right away I said, they got RCS going, and I grabbed one of the guys' phones, and it's under, now there's a setting in there called advanced messaging in their settings under using the Samsung messaging app. So I bet you a lot of these, some of these carriers, if you got use Samsung's proprietary, their baked in messaging app, it's a matter of what SIM card is in it that flips the switch that lets you get that without having to get Android messaging. So
thanks, Renz.
Oh, hey, Renz. Thanks. Sir. I'm sorry I didn't say hi to you, man. I enjoy your coffee and your meals tweets. That makes me hungry. Thank you.
Yeah, Brian told me it is better today. And I remember Rita had Metro, and she never had any problem with it too.
Also, Verizon has their MVNOs feels upper class, like based off.
Hey, TracFone. Track phone that used to be the food stamp phone carrier for people that you want to look at that angle. Now Verizon owns them, and if you look at their site, it looks just like a Verizon site. It's got the
Okay.
red and white, and the
Now
graphics are the same.
we got Will. We got all four of us now.
Verizon owns TrackPhone. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they bought them a few years back, and they finally integrate them completely.
Will,
So-
is that music coming from you, Will?
Nah, that's the TV. What's
Oh,
going
okay.
on, George?
Yo,
What's up, Mike? What's going on?
what's going on?
Not much.
Oh, I'm
Go to
talking.
my-
Hey, I'm talking to him. That he's not at work.
Go to my favorite place tomorrow morning.
I was going to say,
So you're
yeah.
back to work. That's right. You work all weekend, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Nah, looking forward to it.
What are you using for the stream right now?
I use the iPhone.
Oh,
Of
okay.
course. That's what you used last time, right? Yeah. it
Of
worked
course,
well.
Mike. Of course.
I didn't know. I know you used the MacBook too, so that's why I was asking.
I was laying there. I got on that.
Will, can I ask you a question?
What's up?
Then you said not looking forward to it. Do you not like what you do for a living? Or...
No, I don't like the people I work with.
Oh, okay, and I can understand that. I can understand because I always feel like everybody's, oh, it's Monday, or thank God it's Friday, and I'm like, I enjoy going to work every time.
Nah,
I go
I
to
don't-
work, I enjoy it. So
I
I guess
never
I'm
really-
just blessed,
I never enjoy it.
Like one
I don't like it that much, George.
downtown in trucks. I was delivering something to the truck division today, and there's only one in town. And she asked me, could I come work for them Monday? And the boss hasn't been letting me, but the boss said yes. So I get to drive to Nashville on Monday. So that's like a 2.5 hour drive. So that's a great day for me.
So what are you doing, George? Where are you going?
I'm going to Nashville.
And doing what? I heard something about trucks or
I'm
something.
just going to deliver a truck for the Enterprises truck division in Chattanooga and pick up another truck.
Is it a big, or is it like a pickup truck?
It's a big pickup truck.
Okay.
It'll be like a F-150 or an F-250, I'm sure.
Oh, all right.
But we used to go to Nashville maybe twice a month, but now it's maybe once every year and a half. So I feel very grateful when I get to go. Today I did get to go to Knoxville, so I did drive 120 miles out and 120 miles back. So that's a good day for me. Brian's asking, Will, are the co-workers bad or the clients are bad, Will? From what you said, it sounds like the co-workers are not good.
You can't hear you, Will. Can't hear you.
All of a sudden, we can't hear
the
you.
staff,
It's that iPhone again.
Oh,
staff is lazy.
he's saying it's the
I
staff. Okay.
had it.
Yeah, and I can understand that when you're the kind of person who will get in there and work, it's tough being around people who won't.
Yeah.
Well, on top of that, aren't you a supervisor now, Will?
Yeah, yeah. So I
No,
deal
see.
with all the drama and all the nonsense.
Mhm.
That makes it worse. Yeah. And that's why I became a contractor in programming for years, because my next step up from Payne Weber years ago in New York was to become a manager. Well, I didn't want to deal with that. And I didn't want to deal with having to fire somebody, because I always felt like if I have to fire somebody, I want to feel bad for his family instantly. And I know me. So
Will, you're not in that position, are you?
What?
of having to fire people.
No.
No.
Okay.
I would have to write them up and all that. I don't even do that. I don't got time for that. I'm there 2 days a week.
I don't have time for that.
I'm there 2 days a week. Just,
Yeah, and working the kind of hours you're working, I can believe you probably don't have time for that.
do your job and that's it. Like, I'm
Yeah.
glad I don't got to be involved in all that. I just want my paycheck. That's it.
I had one kid under me in Orlando, about 20 years ago, and he was a college kid. He was still going to college. He was really good. He was a great programmer, but he came in when he felt like it, and he wouldn't come in when he said he was going to be there. And boy, I hated having to be over that kid, Because when he decided to work, you couldn't beat him. But some days he just wouldn't work or wouldn't come to work.
Why?
Rock
Why?
star mentality.
Why not come to work? You sign up for something, do it. Just go.
Some
George,
people are
that's-
like
What happened was the job wanted a rock star, and they got a rock star.
they did, but in my years of programming, I've worked with rock stars who were very dedicated, and then I had a couple like him. But my very first job back in '81, I was there 2 years in New York. I worked right across the street from the Empire State Building, and I worked with a guy who had like 5 years experience, and he would work. He was smart. He would work when he had to work, and then the rest of the time he'd goof off. And he said, as soon as the boss realizes that I'm really a goof off, it's time for me to go get another job. And he always went and got another job, always for more money before they fired him. And that's how I couldn't do that because I'd feel guilty all the time. I was the kind that if I had to be to work at 9 o'clock and I got there at 9:05, I would not leave until 5:05 at night. That's just me.
I have respect for the. I kind of have respect for the people.
Work at my job.
I was that's the kind of guy. Like if the subway made me late, I was going to work 15 minutes later and make that up. That's how I am.
Jeez, you're a company man.
I'm very strict on myself. I'm very strict on myself.
At my
And
job, they call in and ask you at their shift starts at 3 o'clock. They'll call at 2:50 and be like, I just
Really?
woke up. Am I on the schedule today?
Yeah,
That's
that's just great.
That's a tough
Oh,
person to work
God.
with. Yeah,
Or in the morning, I get there at 7.
right.
If you don't call and wake them up, they'll say,
You
Nobody
have to
called
wake
me."
them up.
Nobody called.
Oh, this is terrible. Oh, that would drive me
Nobody
crazy.
called.
Yeah, they're welcome to America. America.
When do I have to call you
Yeah.
and tell you to come to work.
Mm-hmm.
Well, see, that's like when I worked for Blue Cross the last 9 years of my programming here, and one of my friends at work would say, "Well, if you need to take time off, just tell them you're sick." And I'd always say, "I can't do that." He'd say, "Why not?" He said, "They'll never know." I said, "Yeah, but God knows, and He's always listening." That's always been my attitude, And my attitude is always, if I lie, if I cheat, God knows it. I don't mind so much pissing off a boss, but I don't want to piss off God.
Let me see.
If Big House says write them up, they sound like I agree. I would feel forced to write them up, but I see your point, Will, because you start writing them up, then that just causes more work for you, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely. You just try and work with what you have. And it seems to me we all, even like at my place, some of the people we're hiring, we gotta really show them what they have to do. They just don't pick it up, nor they want to try and pick it up.
Right, yeah. And that's Elmo's big complaint about working for Burlington. They get all these people that don't want to work, and Elmo is the exact opposite.
Mm-hmm.
I have, in all the years I've known Elmo, and this is like 36 years now, I have never known her to get to a job she's always there at least a half an hour early, sometimes 45 minutes early. That's how she is. Bosses absolutely love her.
You guys,
And she does all the work too. They're going to stick. They stick her with all the work.
The coolest thing that ever happened to her, she worked for the Home Shopping Network in a store in Orlando for like 12 years or 11 years, and the bosses, the managers, and they offered her the manager job a whole bunch of times, and I told her, no, you're not working at night, not in that neighborhood. But the bosses got upset because Home Shopping Network made an award just for her for being the best employee they ever had, and the bosses hated her from then on.
You see, and she was an employee, not part of management.
Exactly. Yeah.
So George, I was looking at some of your stories you have here, and you talked about the S23 Ultra.
Right.
Uh,
How much better it is as far as performance wise.
do you believe that?
Yes, I do. Yes, I
You
do.
really, you think
What?
it's going to be that much more?
Because I've already seen 3 or 4 stories kind of saying that, and including that new camera too.
I
Okay.
just saw a story saying that it's not going to be that much better than like the Pixel 7
Well,
performance.
I guess we're going to find out.
Mm.
They were
Now,
like,
see, for me already right now, my as far as photographs, my best phone is my S22 Plus. My second best phone is my iPhone 14. My third best phone is my Pixel 7. That's how I see it.
Patty just messaged me saying she can't see Will's face, so Patty must be in the room.
Yeah, Patty's here. Hey, Patty.
Will, show your face.
And Patty, I'm praying for your tooth to get better.
Yeah, she's having a rough go.
does she need a root canal, Mike?
Yeah, she needs a root canal, and she saw a doctor and set it up for a root canal to get done on Monday, and the medicine that they gave her, the get a load of this. Will CVS wrote up the prescription, like wrote it up wrong, like telling her how many pills to take at a certain time.
Boy.
They got that all messed up.
Would they
And
put
then,
on antibiotics?
yeah, some kind of antibiotic. Yeah,
Sure, that makes sense.
and
Usually it's
now,
amoxicillin.
I think that's what it is.
Okay.
I think that's what it is. So
I've had a lot of tooth issues over the years. I know amoxicillin very well.
yeah, so so she has that going on, and then she's just really in a lot of discomfort now. When I came home, she was like she had a day of sheer just pain, and then just wore her out.
As soon as you told me, I'm like, it's always on a weekend that this crap happens.
Yeah, I know. And she called. She like I said, she went yesterday to the dentist.
Right.
Said, okay, come back Monday. We'll give you a root canal. Then she thought, it'll calm down. No, she was up almost all night, and she was in a lot of pain.
I've had that happen to me many times. Friday and Saturday. That's always the worst.
So luckily though, it's Monday. It isn't like Monday from a Monday 2 weeks from now or anything like that. So and I have to.
Will you see Brian's comment?
Will was hiding his disgrace face because George put Samsung over iPhone. Nice one, Brian. Nice one.
Nah, I wasn't. Listen,
But anyway, just what I was going to say, my wife has a tolerance of pain super huge. She could take a lot of pain. For her to be in a lot of discomfort,
You go to her. Yeah,
it's
I'm
saying
I'm
something.
the same way. I can take a whole lot of pain,
Mhm.
but over the years, I found the pain I want to take the least is pretty much tooth pain.
Mhm.
That's
Mhm.
the one. That's the one that gets to me in a hurry.
Yeah. So
tooth pain is another level.
Yeah, I agree.
And root canals hurt twice because they hurt when you get it and they hurt when you pay.
No, okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
she wrote there. I've taken a pre-made
Yeah,
before I go to the dentist of 4 oxy.
four
What'd you call it?
amoxicillin. Wow, usually I've never taken more than 2 amoxicillin at once. So 4 means you got some heavy duty stuff going on.
Yeah, well, I think that's where I think that's where the prescription got messed up too.
Oh, okay.
I think that's what she was referring to. CVS messed up writing up.
Yeah, they want to. Yeah, they're trying to. That's good though that they're doing it right away because sometimes they'll make you wait so the infection goes down. I remember my first root canal, my mouth was swollen, and they wouldn't do it until after I finished the course of antibiotics.
Yeah, that's true. They don't want to mess with it when it's swollen. That's why they want that amoxicillin to kick in.
Yeah. So no, yeah, tonight was tonight was my night to cook dinner,
Okay.
and just like I said, she was just wiped out anyway. So
Got it done.
yeah,
So what
yeah.
what is she able to eat? Is she able to eat any kind of regular?
She had chicken soup, and then I made grilled cheese sandwiches.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. So
Something a little solid.
yeah, she can eat. She had like a banana. So it's, stuff is soft. You know what I mean? I don't think she's chewing on anything hard. So, but yeah, but I'm here, and but I saw, like I said, I saw the story. I guess I'll announce it now. I took Wednesday off, the Friday. The February 1st when they had the Unpacked event.
Good.
I took that day off, and I want to do a live, like a live stream, right? Like a reaction video while they're doing it.
Yeah, a lot of guys do that.
Yeah. I done it.
What's his name in Knoxville does that all the time. The guy you and I both follow.
Shane,
yeah, he does.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. She wrote, my wife is supposed to be taking one every 8 hours, not what did she say?
So they really did.
Yeah.
Screw up. Okay.
Yeah. So no, I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to do a live stream, and that's where I'm really going to decide. I got to see what the deals are, because I'm going to be the S22. I go back and forth, and like with her Note 10,
right?
And it's like, sometimes she's listening to me. I know she is. Is a $1,200 phone really what? Can she do something with but she likes the pen, so it's always about the S pen. But it's good to hear, though, the cameras are what Will said, that and I did see some of those comments on Twitter talking about the capabilities is that the Google Pixel 7, I guess, Pro has. So it's going to, that's the one thing she loves, is take pictures of her dog. And have a good camera. And you, in my video, you could see how much camera technology has come when I did the comparison with the Note, the S9 to just the iPhone 2020. So as a 2 year span there, how far those cameras have come. So,
and everybody in the comments agreed with you.
Yeah. So the S22 is going to be the trade-in, and that's hopefully
mine's going to be the 22 plus. So.
Oh, you're going to trade in? You're going to get on this?
That's the only way I'm going to be able to afford the S22.
No. I didn't expect you were going to do another. I thought you were going to just stick with that.
No, because the S23 Ultra is going to cost either $1,200 or $1,250, and I'm like, okay, the only way I can afford that is to trade in the S22 plus.
Well, wait a minute. Don't you have an S22 plus? Don't you have an S21?
Yeah.
Excuse me, Ultra?
Yeah, but I between the two phones, I'd rather keep the S21 Ultra than the S22 plus.
Really?
To me, the S22 Ultra is that good, and you'll find other people who agree with me.
The S22 is that good, so why trade it in?
No, the S21 Ultra.
Oh, okay.
And other people will say the same thing. I think Anthony, my Project 13, said it a few days ago that the S21 Ultra was one of the best cameras they ever made.
Will turns off his camera, hon. See here, look, I'm
still here.
Okay.
See, I can do the same too, hon.
But I don't have a cool picture.
He's teasing you, Pat. He's teasing you.
Mike,
that's right.
Same thing as Mike, but I don't have a cool picture of a white guy on mine.
Hey, Will, I can send that picture to you, okay? I can send you that picture. I'll give you a cool picture.
Yeah, right.
Brian,
you gotta hook up.
Ultra's got that scope. I don't use the zoom that much.
You gotta hook up and go out and eat, Mike.
Okay. Yeah, when I get to 255 and hold it there, okay?
Oh, I want to ask you, have you done anything? Have a wonderful night, Pat. I'll keep praying for the
I'll
weekend.
catch you. Thanks for stopping by, Patty.
Have
See you later,
done anything
Pat. I lost my senses again. You told me I went back to my senses. Now I went away from them.
Well, I got to give you credit for even trying it, Will.
Listen,
Mike, have you done anything?
You know what happened? It was actually frustrating to to switch back, but I don't know.
Oh,
like
it was? Okay.
Android is good, but there's no iMessage.
Oh my goodness gracious!
Well,
Stop.
did the
Stop.
size bother you
Stop.
as much as you thought it would?
Oh my goodness!
You know what it is, and Mike hates here.
Wait a minute, all your friends at least have Facebook Messenger, do they not?
Mike, Facebook
No,
Messenger is
no
terrible.
excuses. No excuses. No excuses. Okay.
Listen, maybe the Galaxy S28 or what is this one called? S30? What is this? What is it called?
S20, S23. You
Maybe that
smart.
one will show something fantastic, but
No, stop.
I don't
Stop.
think so.
I'm going to prevent you. I'm going to find a way to prevent you from getting another phone. You're done. You're
It
done.
sounds like if you want the great camera, you're going to have to get the Ultra. That's my feeling. I'm not positive.
See, even Patty's laughing at you. You're done. I'm going to find a way. I'm going to get it. I'm going to somehow hack. Hey, look, I got T-Mobile. I'm going to use their hacking ability, hack into your system there, okay, and
Mike,
prevent
listen,
you from
Mike,
buying another
Mike.
phone.
Mike, when I was really like ready to
Look,
do
just
it,
stay on a dynamic island, okay,
then
please.
what happened was
I
this is
love
what
my
happened.
dynamic
Mike,
island.
Mike, listen, Mike. When I was about to go all in, remember I told you I said I'm gonna get some buds, get the watch, and then I saw that same tweet you showed me. I said, "Oh yeah, I see." The guy was like, "This is the worst experience I've ever used."
Really?
On a watch.
Yeah, some guy, man, he was just hard on it. See that?
He had the Pixel Watch?
Yeah, he had the Pixel Watch, George, and he just did not.
He tore it to shreds.
Mhm.
Well, I did tell you that, but as far as workouts go, my Apple Watch and my Classic 4, my 4 Classic are both better than the Pixel.
I don't even care about the workout part, just the battery. The guy was like, it wouldn't even connect. Then I looked online and people were saying that it was freezing. That the
I had it freeze up the other day. It was trying to do an update and it froze. And I actually had to go out on YouTube and look up how to unfreeze it. And once I did that, it was okay.
Patty says I can't listen to Will anymore. Bye.
you had to give it CPR.
Pat, that's great. That was a good one.
Now, don't you feel terrible, Will?
I tried, Pat.
Patty, if you're still here, don't worry. I'm going to figure a way to prevent him do this again. He had his dangling. He has dangling. He had my wife all excited, saying, "Oh boy, he's finally back."
Devices anymore.
No, I'm not going to let you. I'm not going to let
Samsung
you.
just refuses me.
Oh, good. See, that's part of my programming.
They won't even take my money. You know it's bad when they don't want to take your money.
That's true.
Oh man,
That's because they know that Tim is your uncle. That's why.
Tim's your uncle.
Tim took a pay cut.
That's true. He took a big pay cut too.
Uncle Tim took a pay cut.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know.
He only took what, 35 million pay cut or something like that?
Wait a minute. I got a question.
Go ahead.
Is nothing just giving out phones?
No, $2.99 for it.
No, it's $2.99, and I'm like, I'm a little sick to death of Carl Pay with his games.
Well,
I'm going to pay $2.99 to do your beta program. I know I'm not.
Wait a minute,
Well, he's
George.
not
You realize
forcing
you're
you.
getting a
He's
phone
not-
that's meant for the
George,
U.S.
he's not-
market.
He's not forcing you to do it.
No, and I'm not doing it. I'm tired of these stupid games.
It's not a game.
These games go all the way back to when OnePlus started.
Yeah, but wait, George, why do you think it's a game?
Because
He's
why
saying-
do I have to do beta for you?
You don't have to.
The only way I get the phone is to do that.
No, but listen, he's not telling these people you have to
Phone
buy it.
of the year,
People
right
said-
here.
People said they wanted to try the phone. He's telling them up front, the phone it's not for America.
To me,
Oh, it's not. I thought it was.
No,
No.
I
Okay.
still don't think it works here. Like it's terrible. And people
Oh, I
are
thought
like,
it did.
That's part of why he's doing this, is my guess. He
And
can't
people
get
are-
he can't get any traction with the carriers.
So listen, he's not playing. That's like he's
I thought
telling
it did.
you,
I really thought it did.
if you choose to buy it, that's your fault.
That's your stupidity. I'm not that stupid.
So
Sorry.
you can't be mad at him.
I'm mad at him with if you're gonna put out a phone, put out a phone. If you're gonna put out a phone in the U.S., go work out your deals with your carriers. If you're gonna put out a phone for carriers,
George, it's not like
don't talk about carriers. Shut up about carriers.
George, I could see if he put out the phone at like AT&T and it only worked on one band or whatever.
What
he didn't do that.
From what he said, it's probably not going to work at Verizon hardly at all.
But that's what I'm saying.
What he said.
He told you that it's not going to work. So
that's what I call games. Stop. I'm just sick of it.
He's providing a service for people who want it.
OnePlus and nothing. I'm just sick of it, and I'm done with it. Now I may end up buying another OnePlus phone before I get a nothing phone because of this stupidity.
Yeah, but you don't want that phone.
I wanted it when it first came out until he kept pushing it and playing all these games with it. And how it was going to be as good as the iPhone. It was going to be the most exciting. Yeah,
well, that's never going to happen, George.
Yeah, but the point is nobody does that but him. Nobody does that but him. He's the only one who does that.
And Google does it every year.
And he does it month after month after month after month until it gets sickening.
Google tells you every year their phone
No. They don't do that. This is not going to. They don't tell you this is going to be the best phone ever made. This is going to be the most exciting phone ever. This is going to be as good as. They don't tell you any of that crap.
And Samsung does it too.
He's the only one that does that. Nobody else does
that. Ted, what's your thoughts on this? Would you get a one of this nothing phone?
Not would you get one. Is what's that guy's name? He's not playing a game. I don't see how he's
Carl Pay. To me, it's a game. He's playing a game, trying to get my money, and I'm just sick of it.
He's not, but George, he's not doing nothing underhanded. I think
he is. Then how come nobody does it but him? He's the only one who makes all these stupid promises that are just stupid. And that's all they are, stupid.
What's the guy's? There was a guy.
None of them are true.
The guy on Twitter said, I guess I'm a beta tester for this phone.
Exactly. I don't want to be a beta tester for your phone.
No, George, he knew what he bought.
I know he knew what he bought. Because he's stupid, I'm going to be stupid too? No, I'm not.
No, George, but it's not like Carl Pay is telling you.
If you are stupid enough to be a beta tester, I'm not that stupid. Sorry.
Okay, so how can you be mad?
I'm certainly not going to pay you $299 to be that stupid.
George, how can you be that mad at him?
Okay, Will, do you have the nothing phone?
No.
Why not? You're doing all this defending of him. Why not?
I'm not, George. I'm not defending him, but you make.
Wait a minute. This is the same guy who just returned a Pixel 7 Pro.
George,
he would never get that.
George, you make it sound like he sold them a phone and said this is going to work on all the carriers.
You're probably right.
Everybody knew what they were getting when they bought it.
I just think the whole thing is stupid, and to me, it's a game. It's a phony game for him to make some more money. That's how I see it. That's how I see it.
There might be 1,000 people who know what is the phone called? That even know what it is.
It's the Nothing Phone 1.
Nothing phone. I thought it was just a phone 1. They called it.
No, Nothing Phone 1. That's what it's called.
I can see if he
No, I'm not going to beat the guy up because he's trying to cheat me. I'm just not going to give him my money. That's all. Look, he's a good salesman because there's people out there actually wanting out buying the phone and bringing it here to the States. Salesman. To me, he's gotten to the point where he's as close to a car salesman as anybody out there. So
did he not succeed in selling the phone to English Dan and I forget who else?
Mike, listen.
Yeah.
He sold the phone to them, but he didn't say the phone is going to work on your network or whatever.
I agree, Brian. No, he's already telling you it's not going to work on your network. He's telling that straight up.
So he's not doing nothing wrong.
That's why it's called a nothing phone, Will.
It's not like
it won't do nothing.
You know what? George, Mike.
It's like Stevie used to say, you haven't done nothing.
No, look, if I could go into Best Buy and buy this phone today, and it just said it was unlocked, and you know what I mean? Then I'd be like, okay, he's wrong. you have to actually search for this phone, go on his website or whatever, and it's telling you there it's not going to work. So if you choose to buy
That's
it,
true. That's true.
it's because you want
I
it.
just think the whole thing
The
is
people
He
who
does.
are buying
I
it,
think he does have disclaimers on the site.
Yes, he does. I think the whole thing is just inappropriate. This is not the way, in my opinion, you're supposed to do business.
How?
Big House. I thought
Sure,
about it for a
people
brief
want
moment.
it.
I just
People
no. I
want
got
it.
too. I got too
People
many
want
other
the
things going
phone.
on.
Listen, George, this is how bad it is. When he first came out with the phone, right? And
Thank
everybody
you.
said-
Brian's right. It's cringe. He's
And everybody-
absolutely right.
Listen, when he came out with the phone, and some people were like, "Oh, I want it," and then he said the phone isn't coming to the U.S., right?
Yeah, and
Okay,
I was
so
one of
that-
those people originally that wanted it. I was one of them.
But listen, he said the phone isn't coming to the U.S.
Right.
People got mad, right?
Yeah.
So you wanted him to just leave it there?
I wanted him to work out a deal where things work in this country if he's going to sell it in this country.
He's not going to sell, George. So listen, the price of making a deal or whatever you want him to do is going to cost too much. He's not going to make money
if
on
it
the
ends
phone.
up costing me $700-800 and it works the way it's supposed to work, I'm okay with that.
But he's not going to sell the
It
number of
ain't
phones to
for a
make it
mobile
work.
phone, but it works the way it's supposed to work.
But he's not gonna make enough. He's not gonna make enough money to make it profitable to be like, yeah, let me go get all these bands.
And don't
and all
sell it
this.
here.
Huh?
And sell it in Europe.
Yeah, he would need to make. He would need to make a separate phone, wouldn't he?
He's
Will?
not gonna make enough money to do it. So he said, you know what? People are asking for the phone. I'll sell you the phone for $300.
Well, yeah, I can see his point.
So
if I'm
people
him,
who
I'm
are
sitting there
buying
saying
it-
people are stupid enough to want this phone. Okay, I'll sell it to them because that's how it is.
And the people that are buying it are YouTubers. You're not gonna see nobody with this phone. At
I'm a
work.
YouTuber. I'm not buying it.
Not
Well,
you. George.
Not for
You're
you. Not for
you're
you.
the
There
one
were
that's
people
not
willing
buying
to take a chance.
So he didn't fool you, but you went and bought the beta.
Yeah.
The beta
Yeah,
Microsoft
Android
Duo.
Stud got it.
That's
So
what
did,
Did
you
he get it?
I believe he did.
George, you should
Really?
be mad that you bought the Microsoft Duo.
Yeah.
that
No,
was a
I'm
beta.
no, it's not Android. It's Joseph Forbes.
The
Forbes.
Microsoft
okay.
Duo, the Microsoft Duo was a beta test.
Yeah, but at least it works on the networks it's supposed to work on.
But you should be more mad at them because the phone was a beta.
No, not the way I see things.
they
And I
didn't
did
warn
not,
you-
and
they
I
didn't
and I
warn you
purposely
of the-
did not
of
buy
the-
the second one. I was willing to take a chance on the first one, and I
They
did.
didn't warn you of the incoming software problems.
No, that's true. That's true. None of us had any idea how many problems it had. That's true.
That was a beta test. This guy told you this phone
That's
is
true.
going to work
That
on
is true. You're right about that. You're right about that.
whatever network. He told you it. If people still want it, I just thought they were giving them away because all the YouTubers have it.
I didn't realize he had said it wasn't going to make a profit. Okay.
Yeah, he's not going to make no money on the phone because he knows
Oh,
nobody
yeah.
wants it.
Yeah, he did say that. Yeah, he knew what he was getting into with that. Yes.
He would have spent way too much money bringing that phone here for,
Yeah, it's
for
got that
20 people
17
to buy,
SPH. That's true. That's true.
for all those lights on the back. That was the best part of the phone, the lights on the back.
That's true, Dave. You're absolutely right. It was. It was the coolest thing about the whole phone.
That was the fancy part.
And then Brian saying he's seen more Galaxy Folds in the street. Okay.
Oh, that phone. Android. When Apple goes out of business, then I'll buy an Android.
Oh my, that's never going to happen.
As
Okay.
I said, that won't be in our lifetime.
Well, yeah, our lifetime is exactly right.
When Apple
Well, look,
stops,
you know who a lot of people are saying is probably going to be going out of business at some point? Amazon.
Amazon. Wow.
And he seems to think so too. Jeff seems to think so too.
Who?
Jeff Bezos.
Wow.
Not tomorrow, but
Yeah.
it seems like Bezos is. He says companies have a time frame. What's the word I'm looking for?
Oh,
And-
life cycle, like a life cycle.
And he's figuring that his company is coming to at some point, not too distant future, they're coming to the end of their life cycle. I guess
Brian-
he would know.
Brian says that phone has a Crapdragon 778G.
Yeah.
The modem's built in. It should have all the bands.
Does the 778G have all the bands? I was thinking it wouldn't have all the bands.
That's where I was left the impression that
Yeah,
this
me too.
phone was meant to be able to work here in the States.
Nah, even if you listen to the latest Android Central thing, Jerry basically was like, it's not gonna work here. he was like, it's not worth it. But
That's
people
good-
buy
that's a
it
good
because they
point,
want.
Brian.
You know why they're buying it, George? Because they want YouTube views. That's why.
Yeah, well, that could
Yeah. What was it
probably
now?
true. That's
I
I
probably
saw somebody. I just saw that on Instagram. Somebody posted going. He couldn't get over all the. English Dan posted on Instagram saying how he couldn't get over all the views and all the eyeballs on his Instagram because he's posting it there too.
Okay, all right. So
Yeah,
then Will is right. Okay.
Because they hyped it up like it was going to be like OnePlus back in the day. That's why everybody thought it was going to be like OnePlus, and it's not.
Oh, so if the Galaxy A73 has the same chip, I think that has most of the bands you would want, as far as I know.
Yeah, but doesn't it have to get certified or something to work?
I'm not positive.
I think the carriers have to approve it or something. That's
Well, that would be for Verizon.
Yeah,
That will.
Verizon.
That would be Verizon on that one.
I think if you have the bands, it just works.
Why would it be for Verizon, Mike? Because Verizon I thought they're not CDMA.
Verizon has a way. If you put a SIM card in a phone that's not approved, it will not work.
It has to be whitelisted with Verizon. Nobody else.
Right.
Yeah, just Verizon does that.
That's why everybody loves T-Mobile, because T-Mobile is a free-for-all. Everything works on T-Mobile.
Something in there, it works.
Mm-hmm.
T-Mobile is the worst service in the world.
Now, see, for me, it's been nothing but great service ever since.
Well,
I
yeah,
started.
for you, George, but like I'm telling you,
and for me too.
And
It
for
will.
Mike, not
But
at my job.
you're in the armpit of Camden County.
At my job in Williamstown, Mike,
When it comes to digital stuff,
Mike,
you got he's stuck with Comcast. He can't use any other carrier but like Verizon or Verizon-based company.
That's tough.
Mike,
Yeah, that is tough.
in Williamstown, I'm telling you, I'll call people with T-Mobile. Their phone doesn't even ring.
Really?
Worse.
Yeah, it can be
So
bad.
terrible.
It can be.
Wow,
It can be bad. It can be bad for the most
Talk
part.
about the
Yes.
most frustrating thing in the world.
I had no idea.
Oh, it's
Well,
awful.
that they're improving. I have to say they just fired up some new bands and new
They're
new
improving.
towers.
Those data breaches keep on coming.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Big House says T-Mobile is terrible in his area too.
In his area too. It's all about where you're at.
Now, see,
too.
in Chattanooga,
Mike,
it
I'm
used
20
to-
minutes
6
from you.
Years ago,
Yeah, I
T-Mobile
know. You
not
could go and I tell you, you had a T-Mobile phone, and you would come to me out here. You come here, and you would have phenomenal service. Phenomenal service. I
Not
see
even-
it. I
not
see
even
it.
20.
Wait a minute. Listen, Will. I see it on this A52. I see this thing change from LTE to 5GE to 5G to 5G plus. Okay, when I get a 5G plus, that's true 5G.
That's AT&T, right?
That's AT&T.
You said 5G, and I'm like, yeah, nobody else even has a nerve to say that except.
Well, it still shows up that way, George, and I'm telling you that it. But I could go. I mean, I'm going down the turnpike going to work, and I watch that thing just change.
Wow.
I've watched it change. I'll have LTE
And
for
the
a
AT&T
good
is
part of
good
it.
phone too.
Wait, listen. Did you guys do this article? Oh my God! Look at this.
Which article?
I'm about to put it in the chat. Let me see if it lets me. Ooh, look at that! It will. Look at that. StreamYard is coming up.
Wait a minute. Private chat, or are you in?
Yeah, in our chat, in the this is
Okay.
called StreamYard.
Oh yeah. I seen that somewhere, and I didn't get a chance.
Wait, I'll put it up. Let me see if I can put it up. Oh, wait, I got to put it over here. Wait, I'll
I
put it up.
laughed when I saw the title.
Let me share that screen. Where is it? Here it is. Okay. Will, did you want to read this one?
Let's see. Google's failing what's it? Google's
Pixel.
failing Pixel ecosystem is the key to being Apple. The Apple ecosystem remains one of the most powerful ecosystems you can find, but Google this month reminded us at CES 2023 that its Google ecosystem is just as powerful and it's only getting better. Not simply that, but it's an ecosystem that's independent of Google. Though it has distinct ties to the company, it can survive without buying a single piece of Google hardware, and that's where its value ultimately lies. Why Apple's ecosystem lock-in is so good. The Apple ecosystem needs no introduction for anyone even tangentially connected to its tech. It's the term given for the synergy that one can get when purchasing all Apple products. That synergy grows exponentially the more people have Apple products and the more useful the ecosystem gets. Take something like iMessage or AirDrop. It's good and laudable that it can work with all your devices seamlessly, but they are no good if they can't interface with those of your friends. As a result of the sheer popularity of Apple's devices in the Western world, Apple's ecosystem has turned into a self-perpetuating machine, and it's something that other companies would love to emulate for that very reason.
That's
Made
true.
by Google is Google's own attempt to mimic the Apple ecosystem. There, if you equip yourself with a bevy of Google products, you'll be able to have a similar experience as with Apple products. Your Pixel Buds follow you from Pixel phone to Pixel phone. You can you can access your phone's photos on a Pixel Book with a click. Your Nest Mini can form the center of your home, while your Pixel tablet and Pixel Watch round out the slate. I've criticized Google's ecosystem before for being an inconsistent one, and the same still holds true in 2023. The Pixel tablet is yet to materialize. Who knows when the Pixel Watch will be updated? And there's no Pixel Book 3 because Google is done with laptops this year. Google isn't the only company to attempt to imitate the Apple ecosystem. Microsoft has its Surface devices as well as a toe in the mobile market with the Surface Duo.
That's true.
Might a Surface Solo or Surface Fold be forthcoming? The folks at Windows Central certainly think so.
Yeah,
Samsung-
I did that story last week. They said the Surface Fold is coming. This year.
Samsung has tried to imitate Apple's ecosystem, but the varying ecosystems, none of which it directly controls, don't quite mesh together as cohesively. As an Android, Windows, and Chrome OS manufacturer, it's beholden to both Google and Microsoft to push its ambitions. Is that a good idea? Huawei would say probably not.
Yeah, that's true.
Google has a big advantage Apple can't replicate. On the other hand, Google's failings have created a powerful ecosystem that supersedes Apple's in one way. It's widely available. Android is one of the most widely used software platforms on the planet. Certainly, Apple has an advantage in some countries, but on a larger scale, Android is more widely used. Google has also done a lot of work in making sure that some of the touted Apple ecosystem features are available on all platforms that allow it. This means that not just Chromebook users, but Windows 11 users can try out quite a few integration features through Microsoft's Your Phone Companion feature. For more specific features like app streaming, there are certain limitations, and that it breaks down the more brand-specific tools, but broader features, sending files across devices, universal clipboards, messaging across platforms, and so on all work. Of course, Google fails at driving the engagement that makes Apple equivalent features useful, whether due to poor branding like with RCS and nearby share, uneven feature rollouts, or lack of confidence in Google supporting its own services for an extended period. The company has built a powerful ecosystem, but it's been handicapped by factors outside of its control.
Well, some of it's outside of control. Some of it they cause themselves too.
Yeah. There's a tendency in tech to consider things that Apple does as the best way and ideal to slavishly strive for. Of course, there's no denying that Apple is incredibly successful and that there is wisdom in following the well-beaten path. However, Apple's ecosystem approach places an undue amount of trust not only in the company, but that all of the individual cogs that make up the ecosystem will work well and will continue to do so in the future. If you're not a fan of the iPhone 14 Pro Max because its cameras don't agree with you, to throw a random example out there, you're kind of stuck. At the same time, putting all your tech eggs in one basket rather than spreading out carries its own risks, as anyone following Twitter will agree.
Yeah,
It's
that's
true
true.
that Google wants to have an ecosystem like Apple. The cool thing about Google's multi-pronged approach, though, is that we don't necessarily have to care.
Yeah. Good article, Will.
Yeah, that was a good article. Yeah, Google doesn't even, like, those couple days I had the Pixel, I saw like nearby share. I'm like, nobody even knows about this. I can go ask like an Android person. Let me send you a file. I'll guarantee you they'll text it to you.
Who's read? Ted, is that you? Where that's coming from?
That's Ted.
Ted, what are you doing?
Nobody knows about nearby share.
Yeah,
No,
that's true.
no, and this is a product of too late, too little, too late.
Yes, and this is what Google often does. You know, this is what they do with RCS, in my opinion.
Yes, and that's another one that's too little, too late.
RCS is just, I don't know.
Will, that
I
makes
do-
no sense what went on that day when I was messaging you.
I do like Google's. I like their messaging app. I like the way it looks and all that stuff. But RCS is just.
That's when it works, Will. When it works, yes, it's great.
Yeah, when it works, it's great. Yeah, but it doesn't always work.
Have you had that problem, George?
Eleanor and I both had it with last year with the we'd send a message and then all of a sudden an hour later we'd realize it never got sent.
Mm-hmm.
Then we'd have to switch it, but it seems like it's fixed now. We haven't had the problem in, I'd say, 3 months. And I know you were having the same problem for a while.
Yeah. Well, I was sending a message to Will and it said it never got sent.
Yeah, exactly.
And
And
then
that was happening to Eleanor and I for about 2 or 3 months.
I think it took me to clear cache, clear storage, and reboot
Yeah.
the phone.
Now, see, I never had to
George,
do any of that.
when he told me that,
it just
George-
stopped. You know, it stopped happening.
Mhm.
Jordan, he told me that it was like a shock to reality. Like,
Yeah,
you're
that's
back in
ridiculous. That's
Android.
ridiculous.
Like, this is Android, clear cache.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, and what are we 6 years ago now? Going back 7 years now? That's silly.
Just like I sent Mike that thing where it told you like the adoption rate of the latest
Oh
And
yeah,
the latest Android was 7%.
5 per year or 6%.
yeah. I
like-
thought it was 5%. I saw it
Project-
yesterday.
Project Treble was supposed to fix this like 4 years.
That's right. That's right. Another one of Google's give up on.
Like, remember when Google was shaming Moto and all these companies for being late with the updates? What happened?
Yeah, exactly.
And now we're at a point where Google doesn't even offer the most years of support for their device.
That's
How
right.
do you
And mind you, then now the number one number one that was bad at updates now is the number one that is good at giving updates,
That's
and number
right.
2 is now
That's
Google.
That's right. That's absolutely right. Yeah, once Samsung decided to do something about it, they really did something about it.
Oh yeah.
And Google should be ashamed of themselves for letting them stay ahead.
Mhm.
See, like that's my problem. I don't like Samsung's software enough to be like, I'll try Samsung.
Oh, see,
just-
years ago, a lot of people had problem with Samsung software. One UI though seems to be fine. A lot of people seem
Yeah.
to like One UI now.
It is a more palatable, should we say? It does.
Palatable,
Yeah, it isn't as cartoonish. It's
Yeah.
not ad, but you know, this is where Android you get the freedom. But who knows about changing the icons? Who knows about doing changes? Who knows
So wait,
that you?
Samsung, you still need the launcher, right?
You
Well,
need the launcher.
Unless you use that stupid Samsung store trash with these trashy themes.
Well, that's just that. No, I don't think they're trashy. I think they're pretty nice looking.
I
I
agree.
mean,
I
I
agree.
used
Big
to-
House,
yeah, but
I
they're
agree
not-
with you.
Do they change all the apps, or is it just the main one? You know what I mean?
No,
Is there always like
whatever. Okay, well, even in Nova, if you put Nova Launcher, not all the apps get changed because the app developer
See,
hadn't
that's-
been worked
yeah, that's-
with them.
Yeah, see, I don't like that.
But
I want
there's
it to be
there's Good Lock, in Samsung, and there's a lot of tweaks, a lot of
True.
different things in there. You can make changes. You don't. That was it horizontal. You can change the horizontal from horizontal to vertical scroll.
That should just be a system setting. Why do you have to download GoodLock for
Who's
that?
getting curb stop? Wow.
Why do you have to download GoodLock to be able to change the way it's scrolled?
hey, Gary. Yeah, we're still on here. We're even though we're past Will's bedtime.
That's true.
Listen, I'm gonna sleep for a couple hours. Set the Apple Watch to wake me up in the morning.
Oh
he
man.
made sure he said set the Apple Watch to wake.
None of you guys caught the deals on those things at AT&T, did you? I missed it. Nobody told
Which
me.
things?
They had the MagSafe Duo chargers for $5. HomePods
really? I
were
didn't know that.
$25.
What?
Yeah, they went on sale like 5 days ago at AT&T. They're all gone.
And you didn't tell us. Why didn't you send us?
Why
that?
do you say something?
Yeah, what kid?
I didn't know the chargers were $129. I'm so mad I didn't get one.
For $5?
Yes, $5.
I did see the slick deals. They were charging they were selling the Apple like cheap chargers, the dual ones that you can fold.
Right.
I saw this they were selling that for $5, but I didn't know they were doing the rest.
The HomePods were $25. The HomePod
minis.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Didn't know
AT&T
that.
was like, they were like, you can try to get it online. They were sold out. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Gary's finally in here. Glad you're here, brother.
At this point, Mike, it's like I use the Pixel for a couple weeks a year, and then if something reminds
See,
me.
I don't get it. That's what I'm trying to. Why you have to get the biggest and baddest first off, and just get the Pixel 7, and then when you get the itch, at least you can play with the software.
Because it's like pointless. I don't just want to play with the software. Like I want to use the phone.
And he has always said if he wants the best one. He's always said
Yeah,
that.
like listen, I was listening to I don't know what it was, somebody on YouTube, and they basically said the same thing. Like he was like, I would go with the smaller phone, but then you lose the camera, which is dumb. Why do you like?
You lose one.
But wait a minute. Used okay,
Why,
but would you use that camera that's lost?
Mike, it doesn't
I know
matter.
you would.
Mike, listen.
Why would
Mike,
you
hold
not?
on.
Why?
Mike, listen.
You wouldn't use that camera.
Wait, Mike, listen to me. Your name is Google, right? You're
Right.
Google, the company of Google. Your job is to sell me a phone. Do you really care if I use the camera? If I'm telling you I want the most cameras I can get and I'm willing to pay for it, why
That's
does the
true.
best camera have to go in the huge phone? So Google is eliminating half the audience because a woman is not going to want no huge phone like that. That's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. I don't
know. Women usually don't run away from big phones.
They're like,
Especially these days, they don't.
I'm not gonna. You know what I mean? They're not gonna want a huge 7-inch screen just to get a Zoom camera. It took Apple a little while to realize, and then they said, you know what? We got to make the cameras equal on the big phone and the small phone.
Now, Gary likes the 7 better than the 7 Pro. He got both.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, but he likes it better.
But you just said, wait a minute. What did Apple do with the cameras again?
Apple was doing the same thing, and Apple was putting on like the 12, I think, and the third. Was it the 12 and the 13? I think. No, the 12 and the 11, something like that. You had to get the big phone to get the better camera, and then they switched it. They put
the big phone.
You had to get the Max, the Pro Max.
You had to get the most expensive,
to get a better camera, but that's dumb. That's
but Gary says, thing. How often do you use telephoto? But I see Will's point. If you want the best camera, if you want
it doesn't matter if I use it once a year. If I'm willing,
I agree with you,
doesn't
Will.
Care.
Yeah, I agree with you, Will.
Google shouldn't care. They could drop the price $100 and that's it. But why would you limit the camera? Like everybody who buys the phone, if you see their reviews, they're all like, yeah, I like the form factor of the smaller phone because most people are tired of these huge phones, but you lose the camera.
I
That's
don't know
dumb.
if it's. I don't think most people are tired of the huge phones. I'm not. I love
You're
my
not,
huge
George.
phones.
George, you're not, but most people would rather their phone be manageable with one hand. But
Well, for me, they're all manageable with one hand.
yeah, well, you're like the outlier, but most
Yeah,
people
that's true.
don't want. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
me and Jay will have no problem with it.
Yeah, I think phones they got too big. Phones have gotten too big.
Now, see, Brian says he uses the telephoto
You
a lot.
used to get the big phone because you were battery anxiety.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. The
Yeah,
battery.
that's true. That's true. You always said that too. Yeah.
But look, I have the iPhone regular size, the small one, the Pro, because the battery. If I had to choose between battery anxiety and getting the best camera, I would choose to take the battery anxiety because the regular size phone is more comfortable to hold.
See, I'll take the best camera because I'm always charging phones anyway, so I don't care.
What is that, Mike? 15 times. Yeah, like I take the
Yeah, but yeah, you're right, Brian. I only started buying pants like that just so I can make sure I had a pocket for my phone with nothing else
yeah,
in
because
it.
you know
That is
why?
true.
Because your phone is so huge. Everybody
Well,
knows.
no. Even when I had small phones, I wanted to make sure I had pockets that I never ever put anything else in with a phone. That's
Look
how I
at
started buying them.
Samsung does the same thing. When I had the Galaxy S20, I
Yeah.
had the regular size because that size was perfect. But
Okay.
you lost out on the camera.
Yeah, I understand that.
That's dumb. That's just dumb to me. Who wants a big phone that's sticking out the top of your pocket?
Mike, did you just take this picture?
On Twitter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, ain't that something how it turned out?
Yeah.
Mike is trying to tell me to get the 7.
I agree. I love my 7. And I'm not having any overheating.
But this is for somebody. I mean, if you're always snapping pictures or you're always taking pictures of your,
I agree, Gary.
You know, your dog, your family, you're just randomly taking these. Then that's one thing. If you're doing Instagram or Twitter, and that I could see getting the bigger, better phone with the camera, but you don't take pictures. You despise getting a selfie. I was, I got Mike, that
Mike,
so why?
Listen, Mike, because it's not okay. So look, if by what you're saying, and you're probably right, I could do fine with what's that phone? The iPhone 14 regular, right? But I want the Pro model. So I'm telling Google, I'm willing to give you my extra money. I don't care. It's not about the money. Why are you not giving me the option? They're not even giving you the option. At this point,
and you see, Mike, that's what he means. That way he gets the most options there is. And I can understand that.
They should give me the option of buying the phone with all the cameras or whatever. Give me everything that I'm willing to pay you for. If the price is astronomical, then maybe I'll be like, no. But if the price is $100 more and I'm willing to pay it, then give it to me. Why would you? I don't understand what they're gaining by not giving it to you. Kinda what I think they're doing is they're trying to use Apple's approach where, I don't know if you've seen that video MKBHD had where they make it so that this one does everything and they'll price it less. So most people are going to buy the 7.
Okay.
Because it's enough. And then they put the other one up high. You know what I mean? Like if you want a Pixel 7, it's either this one or that one. And there people are going to say, well, $7.99 or whatever it is, $8.99 is too much. I'll come back down and get the one for $5.99. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then your other option is wait for the A line or whatever it's called.
That's true. And a lot of people will do that.
But that one's really not going to have the best camera.
Well, traditionally, the cameras on the A were as good as the other cameras. Traditionally.
Well, I'll see in October.
Okay.
used to be a tradition. Now they're just throwing it away.
And meanwhile, George, we'll be talking about this again in October, and we'll be going. Should I get the 8? Should I get the Pixel 8 Pro? But Mike, there's a Pixel 8 Pro Ultra now.
Hey,
Maybe I should get that one.
We'll look at Gary's
It's got
comments.
72 cameras in it.
What options Apple giving you? Isn't the 14 Pro camera different from?
Isn't the
No,
14?
It's not.
No, the 14 camera, not the 14 Pro. The 14, yes, it is different.
I have, but I have the 14 Pro,
Right,
and it's
and
the
I
same
have the
camera
Pro
that's in the
Max.
Max.
Yeah.
The only difference is the battery,
Yeah.
which is what everybody should be doing. The battery should be different, not the whatever. So wait,
I agree,
forget.
Brian.
So wait, the Pixel. Wait, how's it go again on the Pixel? The Pixel. How's it go, Mike? The Pixel 7, and then there's the 7 Pro, right?
Right.
Why the Pro phone got to be huge? Like, you know what I mean? It
I
doesn't even
think
make sense.
because to them, I think still more people like big phones than anything else.
And it's
No,
running at 120 hertz.
Google is always.
Yeah,
late.
it is, isn't it?
Google is late. Google is late.
That's a common theme with them.
Google is late.
Yeah,
They're
it's a
still
guy.
back-
I ain't going to argue that point.
So they have to catch up. Like maybe next year, maybe this year they'll do it right. I think that's what it is. Google is late. They don't realize that the big phone thing is kind of dying. That's why Samsung was like, let's make the flip.
I don't think the
I
big
think
phone
it's dying,
thing is
George.
dying. I don't think
That's
so.
why Samsung made that foldable, because people want small
Then
phones.
why
I
couldn't
don't think it's dying.
Why did
Nah,
Apple
it's not.
cancel a mini? Because it wouldn't sell.
That's too
Yeah.
small.
That's why
that's too
Apple
small.
brought out the Plus model, right?
That's-
Because so
that's-
people could get bigger phones that are more
which
affordable price.
also won't sell.
No. That's too. The mini is too small.
The
But
mini was like a postage stamp. That's true.
Apple is smart because everybody's laughing, saying, "Oh, the 14 didn't sell."
Apple may be smart, but the 14 didn't sell. The 14
George,
Pro
George,
Plus does
there's-
not sell.
George, there's always a phone that doesn't sell for Apple because
Not
listen,
as bad. Not as
George,
bad as the mini and the
George,
14 Plus.
George,
Not
listen,
as far as I
George,
can tell.
George, the economy is doing bad, right? There's
Yeah.
always a phone that doesn't sell. So if the 14 doesn't sell, right? Think
Well, it's
about
not
it.
the
Apple,
14 that's not selling. It's the
If
14
the economy is
Plus
doing
that's
bad, shouldn't it be
George, listen.
the affordable phones that do well?
That's-
Yeah.
But it's the
hold on.
opposite.
George,
It
hold
is the
on,
opposite.
listen.
You're right, Ted.
No, listen. The phone, the 14 Pro and the Pro Max are selling because people are buying them on carrier deals. The 14 regular or whatever, they're not selling now. Wait until 6 months from now when you can get the 14 or whatever people want to get it for their kids, and all the carriers are giving them for $200 or whatever it is off, and then they're doing the $10 a month plans. They're gonna sell. Apple's not spending no large amount of money to make them because they're using the same old chips that they had, the
I
same
agree.
body style from last
Here,
year.
I agree with
the
Gary.
same camera
People
from
like
last
big
year.
phones, Ultra Folds Pros. I agree with Gary 100%. And
I've
I
never
think that's
seen-
why
I've never
everybody's
seen-
making big phones.
I've never seen a whatever. What did you just say? A fold. What's it called? A fold and nobody. I've never seen nobody with a fold besides the pharmacy guy who had like the first one. Nobody's
Okay.
buying that.
Okay.
Regular people
I've
aren't
seen
buying
two
that.
people.
No, even I won't buy it because it's too much money. Yeah.
Regular people aren't buying that. The what's that one called? You said Ultra. The Ultra people buy it because of the carrier deal. They're not coming out of their pocket and
You
buying
might
it.
be right. You might be right. And Brian is certainly right about the 13. You know.
Yeah, it's not because you could go buy that one, but just like when Mike finds the whatever deal he finds on the prepaid carriers for those iPhones that he finds, that's what's
Mhm.
gonna happen to the 14.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, not the 14. No, you're going to see probably iPhone 12 very soon on the carrier. You could have got an iPhone 11. I know majority of last year for like $99 on air. I wouldn't say the 14.
Well, you know, back market who sells those refurbished phones, They're supposed to be pretty good. They're selling the iPhones 11 right now, all about $230 or so, which isn't bad. I don't think.
It ain't bad. No. So.
Still not as good as Google Street, and though.
No. Nobody's. Nobody.
Yeah, but Gary, it's that 0.1 that makes a difference. I was making reference to the size of the S23
Yeah.
Ultra. So.
Guys, only people like us.
And Gary's right. I think it's only people like us that buys the phones outright. That's true.
But that's why those big phones sell. Because when you go to the carrier, they're gonna tell you can get a Ultra whatever for $50
that's true.
a month.
No, you're right, Will.
Or you can get the regular one for $46.
Yeah. No, you're right, Will. You're right.
And it's on 3 years, so the people are like, yeah, fine.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I might as well get the bigger one.
Right.
And then when you see them walking around with it, they got a pop socket on the back, and then
I gotten so I hate the pop socket.
and they can barely hold it.
Yeah.
Right. Hey guys, listen, I'm gonna bail on you. I'm a little tired, and I want to.
We went all the way to 10:30 practically. We did good tonight.
Yeah, I'm like nothing against you guys. I'm getting sleepy, and I want to get a few other things. I'm going to try and work on some kind of vlog to get out for tomorrow. So
usually they call us the four
horsemen.
No. Usually they call us the Musketeers. But tonight we were called the Four Horsemen. So I guess we can go with either one.
There we go. All
right, guys.
All right.
Everybody have a good weekend. Hey, thanks all you guys for coming in. Thanks for sticking with us. Thanks for the donations. Thanks for helping me get stuff since the 23 Ultra's coming out. And everybody have a very blessed weekend. And let's keep in mind we all do better when we love each other.
All right,
guys.
See you, everybody.
Night.